The maze of Diluc littered with broken swords and blood. A massive cracked pillar looms in the misty maze. The masked warrior kneels wounded, surprised by his foe's strength. He clutches his head, realizing his current body is weak. The ruler of the maze, Diluc, is revealed. A close-up of the Minotaur's furious, glowing eye. The warrior draws his sword, steel scraping with a sharp sound. He stands, declaring he will die fighting this beast. Diluc roars, charging forward with terrifying red energy. The warrior braces his shield, raised against the incoming attack. Minotaur's massive axe cleaves down with immense force. Diluc bellows, its roar shaking the very air. The axe slams into the shield, creating a shockwave. Warrior's feet skid back from the brutal impact. He holds his ground shield, cracking under the pressure. Dust and debris fly as the clash continue. The warrior spins his blade, glowing with energy. He clashes directly with the charging Minotaur. A close-up of the warrior's determined glowing visor. A powerful strike lands, sending the beast reeling. Diluc screams in pain and fury. The Minotaur crashes heavily onto the blood-stained ground. Warrior stands victorious, sword dripping with blood. The defeated Diluc lies before him, finally still. Warrior notes the beast still has the same weakness. A crucial weakness is revealed. Diluc's heart is on the right side. The hooded figure surveys the fallen, realizing their fatal mistake. Their attacks aimed left, missing the vital organ entirely. The figure claims intimate knowledge, having killed the beast countless times. Blood-spattered and weary, the victor stands amidst the aftermath. They walk through a chamber littered with the remains of past challengers. This entire place was the true prize Diluc was guarding. Before them stands a colossal ancient door etched with mythical figure. A beam of light illuminates the figure's helmet as they approach. The massive doors swing open, flooding the space with blinding light. A foot steps onto a floor glittering with scattered gold coin. The figure murmurs, "I knew it, just as expected." They gaze upon a vast cavern overflowing with treasure and gold. At the center, an open chest reveals a single ornate dagger on red velvet. Holding the dagger, the figure admits its significance with a sigh. Seated on a throne amidst the horde, a sudden grim realization hit. The scene shifts to a bustling tavern, patrons eating and drinking. Two adventurers gossip about shocking news in hushed tone. A dark-haired man at a table overhears, his interest piqued. His distinctive helmet rests on the table beside his drink. A server places food down, noting his mercenary-like attire. The friendly server asks the stranger a casual but probing question. Man gives a short, evasive answer about his origin. The server's expression changes, recognizing the name of a lost place. Min deflects his tone, cool, leaving the question unanswered. The blonde guy apologizes, saying he just wanted to ask a friend. Dark-haired lead just mutters. Don't mind looking down. A fiery flashback reveals the lead feels like a disconnected stranger. A mysterious hooded figure walks through the night carrying a bag. The lead's face is shown bloodied and grimacing in pain. He collapses on the stones, groaning. "My head hurts bad." Then he looks at his hand in shock, seeing it covered in blood. Suddenly, he hears a shout and looks up, alert and wary. Guards in armor rush past, yelling to guard the village from something. A confused bystander wonders if they're filming a movie in costume. The lead winces, sensing something terrible is about to happen. A massive clawed hand slashes down with brutal, bloody force. A huge shadowy beast slams into the ground, creating a shockwave. The silhouette of a monstrous wolf-like creature is revealed against red. Text identifies it. A two-legged monster called a wolfricorn. The scene shows the dead guards, their bodies lying on the stone. Lead realizes with dread. Those people are from Banta Black Ring. A chaotic memory flashes of people arguing and panicking in a crowd. He recalls the names of the dead, Jorba and Bodin. His eye narrows as he recognizes the location. And this place, he confirms, it's Aram village, the starting point of the Banta Black Ring. The wolfricorn sniffs the air, its ears twitching, sensing its prey. Beast's face twists into a snarl, its eyes locking on target. The lead curses, "Shit," as he realizes he's been spotted. Monster leaps with terrifying speed, he thinks. Will I die at this rate? The lead grips the ground, thinking they must stay calm, but staying calm against this monster seems utterly impossible. The giant wolf lunges, jaws wide and crackling with energy. A massive clawed paw slams down right in front of them. The lead is struck violently, thrown back by the impact. They cry out in pain, crashing through the stone floor. Their weapon flies away as they collapse, bleeding badly. Lying broken on the ground, they wonder if this is how they die. The wolf's bloody, monstrous paws step closer to the fallen lead. A terrifying, glowing eye stares down at its prey. A surge of defiance. They refuse to die like thee. With a desperate snarl, they command their own body to move. Their hand claws weakly at the ground, pleading with their body. The monstrous wolf looms over them, ready for the final blow. Suddenly, someone screams the lead's name, Han. A red-haired warrior leaps into the fray, spear aimed at the wolf. The warrior swings their weapon in a wide glowing arc. Rescuer lands, asking if Hans is alright as the wolf retreats. Hans stares, blankly shocked, as his rescuer speaks to him. The warrior yells at Hans to move, asking if he wants to die. Wolf lets out a furious, earth-shaking roar behind them. The warrior turns, cursing the wolf for interrupting them. They charge forward, shield, raised spear, ready to strike. The spear finds its mark, piercing the wolf with a bloody impact. With a final furious strike, the warrior yells die and attack. The warrior strikes the beast, yelling, "You stupid street dog." Red smoke and embers fill the burning village sky. The victor stands over the corpse, calling out to Han. Hans sits frozen, staring blankly at the blood-soaked ground. He finally looks up and says, "I'm not Han." The red-haired warrior laughs, thinking he's gone mad from shock. Warrior turns, dismissing him and ordering him to help. A close-up of cold, calculating eyes staring through him. The warrior grabs him, angrily demanding he reveal the storage location. He walks alone through corpses, realizing Hez possessing Han's body. His shadow stretches behind him as he processes everything. He sighs, deeply overwhelmed by this impossible situation. A spark of hope flickers. Could this actually work? In the darkness, countless Wolfricons watch with glowing eye. The storage must already be destroyed. Days have passed since ambush. He recognizes this place. The first tutorial of Banta Black Ring. His eyes widen in sudden realization. Something just clicked. A confident smirk spreads, where hero Kadi's journey begins. He sprints through the village with newfound desperate purpose. His sharp eye scans ahead, searching for something specific. Exhausted and panting, he pushes his borrowed body harder. He grins breathlessly. This location is absolutely perfect for his plan. A quiet wooden barn sits under the starlit sky, waiting. He steps inside the abandoned structure, scanning the interior. Next, he covers his mouth. The smell inside is absolutely terrible. Droppings litter the ground, perfect for masking human scent. He scoops up the filth, desperate to hide his smell. His determined eyes glare. Survival means getting dirty tonight. He rubs the animal waste across his hands and clothes. Distant cries for help echo through the darkness nearby. His face hardens. There's nothing he can do for them. A wounded villager cowers, begging weakly for salvation. Moonlight filters through a crack in the wooden barricade. His eyes snap wide. Something's approaching outside the shelter. He peers through the gap, spotting village buildings beyond. A sinister grin spreads. He's finally arrived at the right place. A legendary hero appears, destined to raid the Wolf Kingdom. Hero Capiz materializes, blade gleaming with ethereal light. The tutorial boss awaits. The dreaded king of Wolfricon. Silver Mane Durkin howls at the moon power radiating. The masked warrior and the beast face each other silently. Capiz leaps downward, weapon raised for a devastating strike. The emotionless mask stares ahead, focused entirely on killing. A brutal slash cuts through the air toward the wolf. The watching character's face goes white with absolute shock. Hero collapses in a pool of blood. Defeated already, he whispers desperately. Surely there's a respawn system here. A dark smile forms. He knows the hero will return. The fallen mask stares blankly, waiting for resurrection. He forces himself to breathe. Stay calm, this is just a game. A bloodied fist clenches tight, resolve hardening. Han swings his sword, a sharp, practiced motion. He mutters, "I have one more chance." A fiery flashback engulfs a village in flame. A knight lies dead, his sword discarded in blood. Hans thinks, "I have to try something." He kneels, reaching for a fallen sword, a memory. Capiz is a character I enjoyed playing up. A hooded figure walks through a golden, chaotic memory. Han sits alone in a tavern, looking haunted. He holds a sword that glows with golden energy. For a moment, he approaches a towering, half-built structure at night. His eye reflects the moon, a plan forming. He stands on a rooftop, sword in hand. Footsteps creak on the wooden beams below. Is this the right choice? He wonders aloud. The massive white wolf snarls, its eyes glowing, and Jump, he thinks, leaping from the edge. The wolf's fur shimmers with a purple magical aura. His hand grips the sword's hilt, knuckles white. He plummets downward, sword aimed like a spear. The wolf looks up, tracking his descent. He falls directly toward the beast weapon first. Die! He screams, face twisted in fury. His blade strikes true, sinking deep into the wolf. The wolfricorn roars, rain pouring down its massive jaw. Hans leaps, driving his blade deep into the beast's back. He spins midair, slashing across the creature's skull. The sword sinks into flesh, Hans growling, "Damn dog." Red tendrils burst from the wolf's head as Hans questions it. He stabs again, screaming, "It's horseshit, you fucker." The wolf's golden eye narrows, filled with ancient fury. A massive paw slams down, shaking the very ground. Hans clings to its back, relentless in his assault. He raises his bloody sword, shouting, "One more!" The blade cleaves through, severing the wolf's head cleanly. But Hans collapses, his body finally giving out. Lying broken, he wonders, was it not deep enough? The headless wolf still stands, a terrifying silhouette. Its face twists into a final menacing snarl. A red-booted foot steps forward, a new voice speaks. An explosion erupts as someone crashes into the scene. A red-haired warrior attacks, mocking the beast about warehouse. He leaps, sword gleaming, as he strikes the beast. Blood sprays as the blade finds its mark. The warrior's face is twisted with pure rage. He raises his sword for another devastating blow. Hans and the warrior stare at each other, stunned. The warrior collapses bleeding, asking why Hans isn't running. Hans thinks, confused, why this person is risking everything. The red-haired warrior screams, desperately begging him to live. His strength fading, eyes heavy with exhaustion and pain, he collapses, bleeding out while Hans watches helplessly. Another voice accuses him of cowardice, wanting to flee. He vows to grow stronger, never letting this happen again. At the fresh grave, someone whispers the word coward. The possessed Hans declares coldly he doesn't care anymore. Golden energy erupts violently, awakening something deep within. A spectral blue figure appears, granting power to survive. He launches himself at the massive white wolf beast. The beast is critically wounded, its movements now predictable. His golden eyes burn with terrifying, focused determination. He moves with blinding speed, golden trails following behind. Energy surges through his sword as he charges forward. He leaps high, plummeting toward the monstrous creature below. A devastating clash erupts between man and beast. The wolf's eyes glow with ancient, furious power. A sword plants firmly into the blood-soaked ground. Through the settling dust, a figure stands motional. The beast staggers as crimson sprays from its wound. Blood splatters dramatically across the dark night sky. He laughs maniacally, face drenched in the creature's blood. The massive wolf lies dead beneath the burning village. Scene shifts to a peaceful wooden ceiling above. He collapses onto a bed, finally breathing in safety. Suddenly, he lies in bed, haunted by lingering memories from Aram village. The vault of Akrovenia dungeon entrance confirms his growing suspicion. His past experiences in Banta Black Ring suddenly align perfectly. He realizes Hez inhabiting haunts a body, a seemingly ordinary villager. The transmigrator stares ahead, processing the impossibility of his situation. Sitting on the bed, he discovers Khadi's memories and combat skills within him. His hand tightens into a fist, determination solidifying. He reaches out, calling for a status window to appear. Birds perch on the roof, indifferent to his internal turmoil. After gathering information over several days, he stretches awake. He concludes this world mirrors his expectations closely. Staring at his reflection, he recognizes this as the Banta Black Ring world. He dons a mask, understanding what must happen next. Pavel's Codvan emerges as a key figure in his plan. The hooded figure approaches Pavel's room at the inn. Door swings open, catching Pavel's off guard. Pavlos rubs his eye, processing the unexpected visitor. The masked stranger stands there, shrouded in mystery. He extends an invitation to share a meal as restitution. Pavlos accepts, his cheeks warming at the gesture. A knife slices through the steak. Pavlos brings the meat to his mouth. Pavlos inquires about the Antro subjugation mission. The masked figure reveals his true interest lies with Pavlos himself. Pavlos' eyes narrow with suspicion, sensing something deeper at play. A gloved hand grips a fork, tension palpable at the table. Pavlos mentions everyone left early for the subjugation mission. He chuckles, claiming identical motivations drive them both forward. Pavlos grins, asking if the hooded figure seeks the bounty too. The masked warrior simply denies it, voice flat and final. He clarifies the prize holds no appeal whatsoever. Instead, he seeks a capable ally to face the Antro threat. The shopkeeper inquires about payment arrangement. Gold coins scatter across the table. Pavel's eyes widen in shock. He realizes this stranger possesses far more wealth than expected. Pavlos admits preferring solitude, yet acknowledges the other's potential survival. Towering peaks pierce through clouds, establishing the harsh terrain ahead. They traverse an ancient forest where trees dwarf them completely. The hooded figure rejects heroism, positioning Pavlos as the true savior. His real objective is finding sanctuary from those hunting him. He believes Pavlos can protect him in this dangerous world. Pavlos' expertise with traps makes him an ideal ally for this quest. The masked warrior reasons that easier challenges improve their odds of survival. Pavlos warns of approaching Antros and offers his support. The hooded figure places his faith in Pavlos' ability. A massive tree creature materializes before them, blocking their path. The masked warrior settles in with popcorn content to observe the confrontation. Pavlos draws his bow and engages the monstrous Antro in combat. His expression hardens with resolve as he focuses on the threat. An arrow pierces the creature's eye, striking true. The blue-haired archer readies 3 shots for the beast. Arrows pierce the giant monster's massive stone body. The creature's stone face glows with furious red eye. A massive tail swipes, sending the archer flying backward. Falling through air, lamenting expensive resources spent tonight. A masked figure reveals the stone of red flower. Someone holds the explosive stone, acknowledging Pavel's plan. The archer kicks the glowing red stone downward. Blue eyes narrow with deadly focus, bow drawn tight. An energy-charged arrow launches toward the falling stone. Arrow strikes stone, unleashing a devastating beam of light. The red stone cracks open, power surging outward violently. Red energy circles manifest across the monster's body. The beast's face contorts as crimson power strikes home. A massive explosion engulfs everything in blinding fire. Through the smoke, someone whispers Pavel's name softly. The monster's damaged face emerges from swirling debris. A hooded figure remarked this exceeded all expectation. The creature writhes in agony, smoke pouring from wound. Archer stands ready, bow aimed with cold precision. Shock spreads across the archer's face at something unexpected. Fear creeps in as the situation suddenly changes. The archer looks upward with growing dread and worry. Monster's ruined face still radiates ancient menace. The archer faces the towering threat from below. White energy and flowers erupt violently from the shattered ground. A container spills its contents. Someone curses at the overwhelming me. A fallen warrior lies still. The hero Cadiz is gone. The masked one laments Pavel's death and his broken weapon. He calls the entire situation utterly absurd and frustrating. The towering Antro looms. He mutters that nothing is going well. With Pavel's dead, he decides he must fight the Antro himself. He dodges the monster's massive sweeping attacks with swift movement. There he spots a fleeting chance amidst the creature's furious assault. To secure victory, he realizes he needs 2 crucial things. First, he must retrieve Pavel's bag containing the stone of red flower. His helmet's visor glows with a sudden determined golden light. He moves in a blur, evading the monster's relentless strike. Inside him, he dodges another attack, his mind racing for the second requirement. He needs to somehow harness Pavel's unique lightning-based combat ability. The Antros' massive hand reaches down, crushing the earth. Monster's stone face, cracked and glowing, snarls in rage. A colossal foot stomps down, narrowly missing the agile fighter. A twisted root-like limb whips through the air menacingly. The Antro unleashes a deafening sonic scream directly at him. Concentric rings of destructive sound waves blast outward from its maw. He braces himself, his cloak whipping violently in the sonic gale. The overwhelming noise makes it nearly impossible to close the distance. His grip tightens on his sword's hilt, knuckles straining. But he draws his blade anyway, which begins to glow with power. The spectral blue spirit grants him ancient swordsmanship skill. Golden energy trails as the masked warrior dives downward. A devastating impact strikes the creature with blinding force. The Antros' stone face screams, red eyes burning with fury. Masked figure admits has seen worse, but this is creepy. Embers glow across the creature's twisted ancient stone face. Narration explains the core on its face is the weak knee. First-time adventurers fall into despair facing these horrifying creatures. The masked warrior's eyes narrow behind his helmet with resolve. He declares confidently that he knows the creature's weak knee. The Antros' massive body rises with terrifying primal energy. A golden blade slashes deep into the creature's stone hide. The masked warrior slides across the monster's body at speed. He recognizes the attack pattern from his Banta Black Ring memory. Golden energy surges as he prepares to strike before it screams. The warrior dodges past the creature's face with blinding agility. He launches skyward golden trails, painting the dark air behind him. A massive golden energy blast erupts upon impact with the core. The warrior plunges into the creature's face, cracks spreading outward. He hangs from the Antros' face blade buried in its core. A gloved hand reaches for the dagger at his waist. The masked warrior descends with weapon drawn toward something below. He lands with tremendous force, shockwaves rippling across the ground. The Antros' massive red eyes stare with ancient menacing fury. Sword pierces the purple core, shattering it with explosive force. The beast's gaping maw opens, wide teeth dripping with crimson energy. Masked warrior dives straight into the creature's throat. Golden fire erupts from within, tearing the monster apart violently. The creature's skull shatters as the victor emerges laughing wildly. His armored chestplate glows, absorbing residual power from the kill. Pavel's throwing technique manifests within him a stolen memory. A revelation dawns. He can absorb abilities from those he defeat. Alone again, the hooded wanderer treks through endless misty wood. He clutches his head, rejecting the hero's mantle thrust upon him. Back turned to destiny, he walks his own dark path. Malik Castle looms ahead, but a dangerous mid-boss blocks the way. Hamel emerges from shadows, the martyr consumed by hungering Darkney. Without Pavel's alive, he needs a special tool to survive. The Calyx village appears nestled between ancient mountains, deceptively peaceful. A white cat stretches lazily, unaware of approaching danger. The cloaked stranger enters the village through weathered stone archway. He approaches a guarded door, memory stirring from another life. The masked face tilts upward, studying the imposing figure before him. He speaks the password, knell of wisdom, to gain entry here. The guard smirks, cigarette dangling, recognizing the ancient phrase. Granted passage, the wanderer sits alone on cold stone stair. This underground place holds exactly what he needs to defeat Hamel, Owl Nest. The underground broker's den bustles with shady transaction. Armored boots echo through corridors as he descends deeper within. From above, he watches the brokers below, calculating his next move. A mysterious woman with violet eyes notices something unusual. She approaches the masked stranger, offering help to the newcomer. Confusion floods her face. She wonders who this strange man, he recalls how newbies seek this place to lower difficulty. The hooded figure descends stairs alongside other masked individual. He stops before a cage, spotting a white-haired girl inside. Pointing directly at her, he declares her his unique tool. The frightened girl clutches her chest, red eyes wide with fear. An owl emblem marks the entrance to their destination. Calyx Village's north entrance looms as someone pants from exhaustion. The hooded figure gazes at the sunset sky, sighing softly. He reflects on the slave he purchased just yesterday. The white-haired girl trembles, clearly uncomfortable around him. He tells himself she's merely a temporary tool, nothing more. She stares at the sky, processing her cold reality. A carriage approaches the gates. Someone announces their arrival. The red crocodile teeth industry banner flies high as a horn sound. A massive warrior named Gerbier brandishes an enormous blade. The great sword gleams, far larger than any ordinary weapon. Hooded figure notes how much Gerbier has grown. The supply carriage stops as Gerbier guards it with his sword. He knows their records, their location, and their plan. The masked stranger whispers a single name, Lemelin. White-haired girl stutters nervously in response. He orders her to keep up as they accelerate their pace. They trek through rocky canyons as the sun sets. He explains her role. Grab monsters' attention when needed. Crows gather ominously on the jagged rocks nearby. Her eyes widen. She realizes she's just bait. He hopes they won't have to use her that way. Night falls as they approach ancient crumbling ruin. He calls her name. She looks absolutely terrified. Come this way, he commands, gesturing into Darkney. She watches him warily, sensing something coming. Bare feet pad silently across the cold stone. Suddenly, he kicks her hard. She stumbles backward. She clutches her face, something strange happening. Then she peeks through her fingers, utterly confused. She stares at her hands in complete shock. He holds a fruit that temporarily removes scent. Relief washes over her face, a small smile. Avoid problems, he mutters, haunted by past trauma. The full moon hangs heavy in the night sky. They approach the dark entrance of a ruined castle. She stammers nervously as he adjusts his mask. He looks up at a ladder leading higher. Narration: believe in the situation, not the man. His masked face reveals nothing cold and calculating. Memories of trusted allies dying flash through his mind. Skeletal feet appear. He must consider all possibility. Gervier stands defiant before an army of undead skeleton. The full moon illuminates a desolate, fortress-like landscape. Scene continues with the next story beat. The scene continues with the next story beat. Blue energy erupts as the masked one confronts the horde. Hamel, the darkness-craving martyr, emerges atop a pile of skull. The masked one mutters that even Gervier wasn't strong enough. He realizes he must handle this threat himself alone. Next, he kneels, drawing his weapon, and calls Lemelin to move. Lemelin looks terrified, asking if they're really doing Thai. His mask glints ominously as he asks if he sounds joking. Lemelin stammers nervously, clearly frightened by what's ahead. He tells her to run fast if she wants to survive. For a moment, he drops coins into her trembling, outstretched hand. Lemelin calculates 5 gold coins equals 400 bread loaf. She stammers that it's far too much payment. He hands her a scented stick that attracts enemies when burned. Suddenly, he strikes the stick, igniting it with a spark. The torch blazes as he tells her to live freely afterward. Lemelin questions what about their contract, confused by his kinye. He reveals he already cancelled her slave contract before arriving. Lemelin holds the burning torch, eyes wide with shock. He tells her to check the records herself after escaping. Lemelin stares overwhelmed as he simply says one word: run. She dashes away while he watches from above, flames scattered below. Lemelin crouches terrified as skeletons close in around her. 2 torches ignite, casting flickering light in the darkness. She shouts, drawing the skeleton's attention with her torch. A skeleton's hollow eyes glow with eerie blue light. A hooded skeleton leader emerges, flames dancing in its socket. Lemelin is surrounded, a horde of bones closing in. She bolts skeletons, chasing her through the stone corridor. The warrior reveals her piebald nature protects her here. He hurls a stone with precise, deadly force. The projectile shatters a skeleton's skull in a burst. Another undead falls, its blue flames extinguished instantly. The stone of red flowers pulses with radiant energy. A fiery explosion erupts, decimating the skeleton rank. The warrior stands victorious, only 3 soldiers remaining. He notes this is fewer than expected, a relief. 3 skeleton soldiers advance, weapons drawn for battle. Lemelin steels herself, torch burning bright in her hand. Her bare feet pound the ground as she flees. She sprints through alleys, skeletons flanking her path. The warrior orders her to run straight north. She realizes the north gate is her only escape. Lemelin tumbles down a wall, still clutching the flame. She gazes up at the gate, a silhouette watching. There, she steps through skeletons, halted by an unseen barrier. Tears of relief as she whispers, "I made it." Lemelin realizes her master's words were true. No one's chasing, shock dawns on her face as understanding hits hard. The red stigma marks her as a slave, a tool. She touches the mark, feeling the weight of her contract. Tears fall as she recalls serving as mere bait. She collapses, believing death was her only escape. Under the moon, she weeps. He told the truth. A torch burns brightly, symbolizing her newfound freedom. A skeleton warrior lunges sword, raised for the kill. The masked warrior parries steel, clashing in the night. A precise strike sends the skeleton sword flying away. More skeletons emerge. He recognizes Pavel's favorite dagger. He channels Pavel's throwing skill, hurling weapons with power. The thrown blades find their marks, piercing bone. A spear-wielding skeleton prepares its next deadly attack. The lead notes the effort wasn't quite enough yet. He drops from above, seizing a crucial moment's delay. Gerbier's memory surfaces. Great swords are the true classic. He swings the massive blade with surprising fluid grace. The greatsword cleaves through another skeleton with ease. He marvels at the weight, feeling like a one-hander. Has he absorbed Gerbier's strength along with his skill? Skeletons charge, but he meets them head-on. One final arc ends the last skeleton's threat. Small fries dealt with. Now the real fight begins. Hamel, wreathed in blue flames, awaits the warrior. The moon hangs over the ruined castle courtyard. Masked warrior charges, greatsword raised high. He swings, channeling absorbed power into one strike.
I must stop this, he thinks, steeling himself. Hamel counters with a blinding, swirling attack. The warrior realizes he cannot dodge this blow.
Impact sends shockwaves through the stone. He is thrown back, armor cracking on impact. The warrior crashes hard against the castle wall. He slumps to the ground, momentarily stunned. Hamel advances, dark energy crackling around him. The warrior desperately blocks with his greatsword. A brilliant flash erupts from the clash. The warrior is blasted backward by the force. He lies amidst rubble, coughing up blood. His gauntleted hand trembles, gripping the broken hilt. Blood drips from his mouth as he grimaces. "My body won't last at this rate," he mutters. His greatsword lies shattered on the ground. What am I even doing? He questions himself, obsessed with abilities. I've forgotten the basics. The weapon broke and my body is failing. Well, it doesn't matter, he says, removing his mask. New plan, defeat Hamel using my original strategy. The warrior crashes hard stones scattering around him. Hamel raises his massive greatsword, dark energy swirling. The skeletal lord swings, sending the warrior flying backward. Greatsword slams down, cracking the ancient stone floor. The warrior thinks fast. If he disrupts Hamel's balance, determination burns in his eyes as he prepares his counter. A precise strike connects, staggering the undead creature backward. He dodges the retaliatory swing, flames erupting behind him. That brute strength means nothing if you can't land it. His fingers tighten around his weapon's hilt, readying the next move. He launches himself downward, closing the distance between them. The impact cracks against Hamel's skull bones, splintering. Ice and shockwaves erupt from the force of the blow. Under the moonlight, the undead warrior rises again, undeterred. A chain drags across stone as the warrior reveals his true weapon. "I brought something special just for you," he says, shield raised. "Holy water works wonders on creatures like you." The chains wrap around Hamel, binding the skeletal figure. Warrior realizes the core must be hidden inside the skull. He strikes at the head, aiming to shatter what lies within. The chain weapon connects with devastating force against bone. He raises his blade for one final decisive strike. The weapon plunges deep into Hamel's eye socket. Inside the skull, a glowing blue core pulses with energy. The core cracks but begins regenerating, it's too close to the source. He steeled himself, having anticipated this exact scenario. Inside him, he revealed a vial noting his wealth allowed ample holy water. He smashed the vial against the skeleton's skull. The sacred liquid splashed, causing the bone to crack and sizzle. Skeleton shrieked, blue energy erupting from its mouth. He observed the effect, confirming the holy water's potency. Yet he muttered it was all useless against this foe. He turned his back, preparing for a different approach. Then he declared it was time to end this Hamel. The skeleton's jaw unhinged, unleashing a torrent of spectral flame. Force blew him backward, sending him crashing to the ground. A skeletal hand reached out its fingers, scraping the stone. He panted, recalling Head fought this desperately before. Memories of his masked ally and a grinning foe flashed. He sat against a wall, utterly drained and confused. A close-up revealed the profound exhaustion in his eye. A white-haired girl holding a mask approached him cautiously. The scene shifted to vast ancient ruins under a dawn sky. He stared at the landscape and swore in frustration. Next, he clutched his arm, complaining this exhaustion followed every battle. His gaze sharpened, focusing on the new arrival. He ordered the girl to take the mask off. She complied, lifting the helmet to reveal her startled face. He sighed, wondering how his situation had deteriorated so completely. The full moon hung over the silent, jagged ruin. Lemelin gazes up at the moonlit castle, conflicted about leaving. The masked warrior appears behind her, shocked she returned. He suddenly coughs blood, collapsing from his wound. A sinister armored figure lurks in the shadows nearby. Lemelin realizes Hez badly hurt and needs healing. She finds his medical supplies scattered on the ground. Lemelin carefully tends to his injuries despite everything. He removes his cloak, revealing bandage-wrapped wound. After treatment, he coldly tells her she's free to leave. Lemelin stands trembling, unable to walk away from him. He looks confused by her hesitation to accept freedom. For a moment, he offers more gold, assuming she wants payment. Lemelin looks down. Money isn't what she is after. She asks if he needs something else from her. The silence stretches as she waits for his answer. His eye narrows, studying her with sudden intensity. He finally demands she tell him what she actually wants. Dawn breaks as they travel together through rocky terrain. He runs ahead, cloak billowing in the wind. Suddenly, he glances back, checking if she's still following. They pause in a forest, catching their breath. Their eyes meet. Something unspoken passes between them. Lemelin grabs his cloak, refusing to let him leave her behind. They rest together by a campfire, finally at peace. Lemelin sleeps peacefully, her face soft and vulnerable. Dawn breaks with birds soaring across a soft painted sky. They reach a signpost. Alban's citadel lies ahead. The weathered wooden sign points toward their destination. He worries she'll complicate things inside the citadel. His eyes narrow. Honestly, she's just a burden now. He stops walking and demands an answer from her. She clutches her helmet, stammering she wants to stay. He frowns, confused. What did he ever do for her? She whispers. That's exactly why. There she explains he never hit her or treated her cruelly. Her cheeks flush as she struggles to continue speaking. Tears well up. She confesses she doesn't want to die. They stand silhouetted against a blazing sunset on the cliff. He asks bluntly if she thinks staying means living longer. His scarred gauntlet rests at his side, proof of constant danger. She admits, tearfully shed, die even faster, completely alone. He reminds her he already gave her gold to survive. She explains others would just steal it from her. He calls her stupid with visible frustration. She droops, looking utterly dejected by his word. Internally, he knows. He's barely keeping himself alive already. He realizes staying near him is genuinely her safest option. A haunting memory surfaces. Piebalds, those marked by white hair. She once sat imprisoned awaiting capture by slavers again. Demand for piebalds remains dangerously high. They make perfect bait. The warrior and Lemelin stand together watching the sunrise in silence. He turns away, his expression unreadable as the dawn light hits his face. Inside him, he mutters to himself, wrestling with a decision about their path forward. He looks back at Lemelin, giving her a firm, unexpected instruction. Lemelin's eyes widen in surprise at his sudden, serious tone. She clutches the helmet tighter, a small, determined smile forming. The scene shifts to a grand castle town bathed in the warm glow of sunset. A parchment map labels the location as Alban's Citadel Pistons. Inside a dimly lit workshop, a hooded figure observes from the shadow. A lantern glows beside a sign marking the entrance to an alchemist's shop. A customer impatiently asks about the completion of a commission. A skeletal hand taps the desk, the alchemist chiding the customer's haste. The hooded figure confronts the alchemist, demanding rare ingredient. Blonde alchemist states only they can heal the figure's arm. The alchemist smirks, teasing the hooded figure about their grim demeanor. Hooded figure snaps back, their voice dripping with irritation. They threaten the alchemist's hand resting on the hilt of a sword. A skeleton stands eerily still by a door inside the shop. The alchemist muses on the hooded figure's surprisingly sharp personality. Alchemist is startled as light spills through the shop's front door. The warrior and Lemelin enter the warrior asking for recovery elixir. Alchemist notes they have some, but observes the warrior as a new face. The warrior confirms he just arrived, but the alchemist presses for detail. Alchemist questions why he needs the elixirs, asking if he is hurt. The warrior's gaze sharpens, asking the alchemist what they think of him. Dark-haired man asks a pointed question, his expression unreadable. The blonde alchemist dismisses his concern, standing in her cluttered workshop. Man and Lemelin wait at the counter as the alchemist searches for something. Lemelin stares curiously at a skull mounted on the wall. The alchemist opens a hidden compartment, revealing a secret stash. She presents a case of potent red elixirs, asking how many he require. He requests 10 bottles, unfazed by her warning about the high cost. Then he confidently states he can afford them, offering a fair price. The alchemist smiles, slyly demanding at least 10 gold coin. Her expression shifts to shock at his unexpected response. He corrects her, smirking as he demands 15 bottles instead. Next, he explains his reasoning, speaking about acknowledging her value. A gloved hand places heavy stacks of gold on the counter. He reveals his true motive, building affinity to gain crucial information. For a moment, he turns to Lemelin, ordering her to hand over Hommel's dropped item. Lemelin retrieves a cloth-wrapped bundle from her bag. The bundle contains a strange, glowing white crystalline substance. Alchemist identifies it, her mind racing about the rising affinity. The man is surprised, noting the affinity is growing faster than expected. Alchemist offers to craft 3 items from the substance. Her smile turns sinister as she warns of a hidden cost. The man drinks a potion without hesitation, dismissing her warning. A close-up shows his eye reacting intensely to the potion's effect. He grimaces at the awful taste, vowing never to drink it again. Despite the taste, he admits the elixir's undeniable effectivine. A pink-haired woman questions the warrior about the white-haired girl. Lemelin looks on with a serious, attentive expression. The woman smirks, declining his offer and noting Lemelin's loyalty. Warrior dismisses her assumption, stating they just met. The woman philosophizes about fleeting life and lasting fate. Pair walks along a castle wall under a cloudy sky. They enter a dark ruined hall within the castle. Suddenly, they overlook a vast sunlit valley from the battlement. Lemelin gazes at the beautiful sunrise, captivated. The warrior reveals an army of monsters arrives next week. Lemelin is shocked, her hair standing on end. A flashback shows a fierce bearded warrior amidst flame. Text explains the hero is dead, leaving the place undefended. A close-up shows the warrior's determined golden eye. Text ponders how the citadel will defend itself without hero. A high-angle shot shows a quiet cobblestone town square. A tavern sign with a tankard emblem hangs outside. Inside, a boastful hunter claims hell be number 1. Another hunter laughs, mocking him and boasting of his own capture. A blonde hunter questions the existence of the Witch of the West. The boasting hunter gets angry, challenging the doubter to a fight. Hooded warrior watches the brewing tavern brawl, unimpressed. A wooden tankard is slammed violently onto a table. A one-armed man tells the noisy patrons to shut up. A scarred thug angrily confronts the one-armed man. The hooded lead silences the thug with a cold stare. He swiftly strikes the man, sending him flying backward. There, he draws his blade, daring anyone else to challenge him. Lemelin nervously asks if they can truly stay here. She worries aloud, noting they have lingered for day. The lead dismisses her questions, focused on his meal. He commands her to simply sit down and eat. Lemelin stammers, shocked he would allow a slave to eat. He repeats his order, his tone leaving no room for argument. A grateful Lemelin thanks him, her eyes shining. She happily devours the food, savoring every bite. A dark prophecy speaks of elite spirits as strong as Harrow. It names the terrifying commander, Radok Schultein, their nemesis. A grim vision flashes, a catastrophic game over for the Citadel. The lead resolves to keep the heroes alive to prevent it. He recalls the supposed heroes are all dead, a dire problem. Surveying the chaotic tavern, he mutters, "What a shit show." The brawl erupts with patrons screaming and throwing punch. He drinks deeply, knowing he must protect this place. Inside him, he admits he has no choice in this grim duty. A patron is violently slammed onto the tavern counter. He decides to search for items as an alternative plan. An angry man hurls a mug, screaming to kill him. Lemelin panics, asking if her master is all right. His eyes glow with power. He was merely getting bored. The warrior and Lemelin enter the noisy tavern, drawing look. Scarred thug shoves the one-armed man, escalating the conflict. The hooded warrior steps forward, placing a hand on the thug's shoulder. A single devastating punch sends the thug flying backward. The thug crashes onto the floor completely unconscious. Warrior stands over the fallen man unimpressed by the fight. He thinks to himself, unsure how to get stronger. The red-haired lead smirks, calling it just a warm-up. Lead's eyes narrow, demanding to know the warrior's identity. The warrior's helmeted face is shown mentioning Aram village. A close-up reveals the warrior's intense golden eye within the helmet. A flashback shows a dark forest and a fallen armored figure. The lead questions if they were ever truly strong. His expression hardens with the realization they were not. A violent memory of a monstrous beast and a desperate battle. The warrior dismisses the past, saying he doesn't care about memory. Lead is confused, asking what he means by that. The warrior turns, telling Lemelin it's time to leave. Lemelin, surprised, quickly agrees to follow him. The pair walks out of the tavern, leaving the lead behind. Lemelin glances back with a serious, unreadable expression. Her face shifts into a bright, almost unsettling smile. The lead reaches out, shocked, whispering the name Elaine. His face falls into shadow as he states she's already dead. The scene shifts to the quiet exterior of the tavern under a blue sky. Warrior points at a sword on the table, asking Lemelin about her combat skill. Lemelin looks up nervously, admitting she knows a little about swordplay. He tests her further, asking if she's actually good. She shakes her head no. They move to the bow section. Shiz never touched one in her life. The warrior sighs, bluntly stating she doesn't know anything useful. Lemelin's eyes droop with guilt as she stammers an apology. His expression softens slightly. Something is better than nothing, he reasoned. He scanned the weapon wall, searching for the right tool for her. His hand reaches for a crossbow mounted among the other arm. He tosses it toward her, telling her to try this instead. Lemelin catches it awkwardly, protesting she's never used one before. A sly smirk crosses his face. He has a plan forming. He glances back, telling her not to worry about her inexperience. Narration explains some races are despised and ignored in this world. The word piebald appears as Lemelin stands beneath a tree. She raises the crossbow with sudden, unexpected focus in her eye. Text reveals piebalds possess combat instincts others lack entirely. They can learn 100 times faster than ordinary people. A beam of energy erupts. Her hidden power awakens violently. Lemelin gasps in shock at her own sudden, overwhelming ability. Narration notes crossbows are easier, but still require weeks of practice. The warrior stares at the bullseye, stunned she hit it perfectly an hour. He mutters the truth, shiz piebald, and that changes everything. Text hints at a downside to her incredible natural gift. A flashback reveals Pavel's superior skill. His ability never missed any target. The dark-haired warrior sits on a crate, calling Lemelin's name softly. She stands in the grassy field, watching him curiously from a distance. His hand rests on a large wrapped bundle, preparing to hand it over. Lemelin holds the package, confused as he tells her to change clothes. Her face lights up with pure joy. She hasn't received a gift like this before. He smirks, knowingly explaining her appearance matters for the operation. D-Day arrives. Birds scatter across the sky as tension builds. Under moonlight, he announces the enemy has arrived and tells Lemelin to move. Lemelin responds with quiet determination, ready to follow his lead. A gloved hand tightens armor straps. Preparations are complete. Someone walks through the darkness, speaking about earning strength through effort. A hooded knight adjusts their mask, philosophizing about growth through experience. Lemelin stands fully equipped in dark gear, transformed and ready for battle. They walk toward the citadel together. She asks if Hez worried. He denies it. Arrows pierce a target on wooden boards. Training grounds show preparation. Soldiers stand watch along the castle walls under an ominous sky. A commander rings the alarm bell, shouting orders to the archer. Armored boots descend stone stairs with urgent heavy footstep. Rows of spearmen line the battlement's banners, fluttering in the wind. A fierce soldier grips his weapon, declaring the time has finally come. Boots stomp on wooden floors. Everyone moves into position. A spearman grins impatiently, admitting he was tired of waiting. A red-haired man spots the hooded warrior and Lemelin climbing the stair. He clenches his fist, deciding to thank the mysterious man later. Beneath the moonlight, an army of dark-armored figures with glowing eyes advance. Dark banners flutter ominously against a stormy night sky. A hooded spearman shouts warnings about invaders approaching the wall. Someone curses quietly, realizing the situation is getting worse. Defenders stand firm, declaring the sky itself watches their enemy. A golden-eyed figure asks if they fear divine punishment. A mysterious knight's visor gleams with cold, calculating light. A radiant presence appears, speaking of someone they must protect. An army of dark warriors stands ready, spears gleaming menacingly. An archer draws back, confident they can land the perfect shot. A blazing golden arrow streaks across the dark battlefield. The projectile strikes true, exploding against an armored helmet. Red-haired lead and companions stare in stunned silence. A grim commander rallies his soldiers behind him with determination. Lemelin gasps, calling out to her master in shock. The hooded warrior stands alone before the watching defender. Mysterious figure turns confused by what just happened. Dark clouds swirl ominously above the battlefield below. A lone knight gazes up at the imposing fortress wall. A purple-eyed commander snarls about the disrespect shown to him. Soldiers cheer wildly, celebrating their one-shot, one-kill pro. The heroes smirk, declaring their enemies weaker than expected. Hooded warrior thinks about holy water requirements for victory. He tells Lemelin to keep moving toward their objective. Lemelin looks confused as her master warns something approach. A massive explosion of fire erupts across the battlefield. Lemelin's eyes glow red, ready for the battle. She senses the enemy approach, tension mounting high. Guards watch as our heroes enter the gate. A fiery projectile hurtles toward the castle wall. The explosion rocks, the fortress chaos erupting inside. Dark army advances, glowing eyes piercing night. The red-haired lead braces himself against the shockwave. Soldiers scramble across the courtyard as fires spread. A cry goes up. The wall has been breached. Commanders shout orders, preparing for close-quarters combat. Archers aim, carefully targeting enemy casters in backline. A mercenary grins, thinking of the coins hell earned. One soldier breaks down screaming in sheer terror. Another tries to flee, leaping from the battlement. Mercenaries watch from afar, commenting on his cowardice. The lead doubts they'll survive this onslaught. No way, says one staring at the ruin. A desperate hope. Maybe a hero will save you. More fire rains down, pounding the crumbling wall. A knight falls, whispering a plea for salvation. His eyes glaze as life fades away. A dark soldier raises its blade high. The lead confronts the armored menace head-on. His spear finds its mark, piercing the dark armor. He stands amidst defeated foes, the battle won. The red-haired mercenary clutches his spear, trembling. He recalls his pride, but these foes are different. Then he glances around, worried for his comrade. A fellow warrior fights desperately in the background. A voice shouts, "They will not fall here." A bald warrior screams their families are next. He charges forward, sword raised for his family. A dark armored figure brutally cuts him down. The bald warrior grits his teeth, refusing to yield. A shadowy entity unleashes a devastating blue energy slash. The red-haired mercenary's eyes widen in shock. Blue energy slice cleaves through the air. A hooded knight with glowing eyes appears, labeled Invader. The knight's helmet glows, stating they must all die. Red-haired mercenary mutters a curse, realizing the threat. A dark figure leaps from the walls with terrifying speed. A spear is thrust toward a looming shadowy figure. A warrior clashes violently with the dark entity. The red-haired mercenary thinks this is the end. Bald warrior fights a dark knight on horseback. The dark figure leaps sword, poised for a killing blow. Red-haired mercenary looks up, stunned by a new development. A close-up of the knight's helmet, radiating cold power. A violent clash sends sparks flying from their weapon. The dark figure is sent tumbling from its horse. A violent burst of purple energy erupts, signaling the battle's start. The hooded warrior and Lemelin pause on horseback, checking their statue. Warrior simply says good, confirming they are unharmed and ready. He orders the others to fall back, taking tactical command. "Let's go, Lemelin," he commands, preparing to charge into the fray. The red-haired lead warns. "Wait that way," is with sudden concern. A figure is engulfed in a swirling vortex of powerful energy. Armored soldiers clash weapons fiercely in the chaotic melee. "Lemelin, we are breaking through," he declares, stealing her resolve. The warrior leaps forward, spear aimed, cutting through surrounding enemy. I don't have time for all that, he states with urgency. He charges straight toward the final boss, ignoring the lesser foe. The red-haired lead watches, amazed at the warrior's destructive path. Warrior carries Lemelin while fighting, protecting her at all cost. Multiple armored figures engage in a chaotic, swirling aerial battle. Narration reveals each vengeful spirit is an elite warrior. However, their formation limits them, and Jervier's horsemanship is key. A horse's hooves pound the ground, showcasing incredible speed and skill. He combines horsemanship with a devastating spear act for maximum impact. The warrior executes the combo, creating golden arcs of energy. His attack overwhelms soldiers with brilliant, sweeping golden strike. A dark-armored commander smirks, finding the challenge amusing. "Come at me," the commander taunts, ready for a personal duel. Dark energy tendrils lash out, attacking with sinister, overwhelming power. The warrior stands surrounded, facing the encroaching darkness, an elite soldier. A gauntlet tightens, purple energy crackling ominously. A dark horse rears its rider, a looming shadow. Lemelin's eyes widen, realizing a path has opened. A long, empty corridor stretches before the red-haired warrior. The hooded knight orders Lemelin to dismount urgently. He reassures her the surrounding soldiers won't attack. The silent army of dark knights watches motional. Red-haired commander questions if he came alone. The hooded warrior replies he did not come alone. Commander demands to know his real reason. The surrounding dark knights' visors glow with blue light, army parts creating a path through their rank. Lemelin stammers, calling out to her master in fear. The warrior simply tells her to shush, staying calm. He draws a small folded cloth from his cloak. The cloth, a family crest, lands at the commander's feet. Commander and his lieutenant stare at the crest. The lieutenant's visor glows, analyzing the symbol intently. He kneels, picking up the crest for closer inspection. The commander identifies it as a knight's family crest. He asks if the hooded warrior is a knight. The hooded warrior confirms. That's right, without hesitation. A flashback shows the crest is a formal duel challenge. The commander is revealed as Radol Shultine, a knight captain. Warrior admits the crest was a hastily made fake. The hooded warrior speaks of vengeful spirits and legendary strength. A crimson-haired knight challenges Radok Shultine to honorable combat. Dark clouds swirl across the purple sky as tension mounts. The hooded rider gazes down at Lemelin from his horse. Lemelin's face shows pure shock at what's unfolding. Silence hangs heavy as everyone wonders if he'll refuse. His gauntleted hand tightens on the reins, considering retreat. The dark knight finds honor, amusing eyes glowing with malice. He mocks the pale companion, asking if she's merely a servant. Lemelin stares at the knight and his waiting army beyond. The hooded warrior responds with cryptic agreement. Crimson Knight declares his honor will echo through history. Lemelin's eyes widen, stunned at being named Whitney. Evan accepts, guaranteeing Lemelin's safety during their duel. The Dark Knight raises his weapon, ready for battle. His horse surges forward, wreathed in crimson energy. The crimson-haired warrior grips his blade with fierce determination. Radok Shultine introduces himself as captain of the Dark Knight. The hooded warrior simply states his name is Evan. Radok proclaims their duel will become legendary. Evan orders Lemelin to stay back as she protests. Lemelin's voice trembles, begging him to be careful. The Crimson Knight signals the duel's violent beginning. Evan recalls every boss follows predictable attack pattern. A massive minotaur emerges, glowing eyes burning with rage. Dark energy swirls as the armored rider charges through Chow. Radok's helmet glows crimson, declaring no exceptions tonight. The hooded knight steadies himself, no hesitation remaining now. He commits, fully planning to face this threat head-on. Radok mocks Knight Evan's courage against such overwhelming odd. The red-armored menace promises strength in response to bravery. Radok draws his massive polearm, purple energy crackling violently. He shifts into an aggressive stance, weapon humming with power. Evan notices the dangerous change in his opponent's posture. The full moon watches silently over the battlefield below. Lemelin stands frozen between two imposing armored sentinels. Her red eyes widen, sensing something terribly wrong now. The hooded knight mounts his horse, preparing for impact. Evan curses internally, not expecting berserk mode this soon. Radok erupts with crimson fury, weapon raised high. Evan calculates quickly. The horse might be the key, the real question. Can he survive berserk mode at all? Radok growls impatiently, asking why Evan won't attack. The red-haired demon charges forward with terrifying speed. Radok's helmet burns with hellish red eyes, blazing fury. Blinding strikes flash across the darkness in rapid succession. The battlefield erupts as both warriors clash violently. Evan blocks, desperately claiming he knows these attack pattern. He recalls Kadiz's power to channel and break opponent. Radok swings jeeringly, commanding Evan to die with honor. The Dark Commander's helmet blazes with crimson flames, eyes burning with malice. Hooded warrior raises his staff, bracing against the incoming red energy. A violent explosion of scarlet power erupts, sparks flying everywhere. He grits his teeth, shouting he must channel this wild energy somehow. The towering dark figure looms above Cape, billowing like blood-soaked wing. Red flames swirl around the armored menace, radiating pure killing intent. The hooded warrior steadies himself on horseback, noting his foe lost balance. But the Dark Commander recovers, instantly cursing in frustration. The masked warrior mutters this game is completely screwed up. Enemy laughs maniacally, taunting about how easily he adapt. The hooded one wonders if this taunting is deliberate psychological warfare. Lightning cracks across the stormy sky, rain pouring down on jagged rock. Their weapons collide, violently golden energy clashing against crimson fury. The Dark Commander cackles, impressed by his opponent's endurance. Hooded warrior curses under his breath, struggling to keep up. He realizes pure defense won't work, but that horse keeps shifting distance. The enemy charges, again mocking him for having time to think mid-battle. A brutal strike lands, red energy cutting deep into the warrior's side. The horse rears up, dramatically hooves striking empty air. A close-up reveals the Dark Commander's cold calculating gaze beneath steel. The hooded warrior grips his weapon tighter, refusing to fall yet. His masked face shows renewed determination despite the overwhelming pressure. Another devastating clash sends shockwaves rippling through the battlefield. The warrior realizes his opponent is now completely serious about this kill. Dark Commander's eyes glow crimson as he roars, "Now die." Evan's horse rears wildly, sensing the incoming killing blow. Radok's crimson-maned steed charges, eyes burning with hellfire. The Dark Commander snarls that resistance is utterly useless. Evan counters with golden energy staff blazing against the crimson tide. He recalls boss patterns. Every berserker leaves predictable opening. His staff ignites with holy light, preparing a devastating counterstrike. Evan declares hell and this in a single decisive blow. The hooded warrior swings, shouting that dodge is impossible now. Golden energy crashes into Radok's crimson barrier violently. Evan's visor gleams. He wasn't aiming for the commander at all. The beam strikes true, cutting through dark energy like butter. An explosion erupts. Radok watches from below, stunned. Evan pants heavily. He sealed the horse's mobility but burned through stamina. Hero Kadi's skills prove devastatingly powerful against Dark Force. But such explosive power demands terrible stamina consumption. Gerbier's gift only reduces the drain. It doesn't eliminate it. Evan's muscles scream in protest, trembling beneath his armor. Radok's helmet smolders, acknowledging his opponent's strength. The Dark Knight dismounts. Someone finally forced him from his horse. Red flames intensify as Radok declares this is Evan's limit. Radok Schultein introduces himself properly, weapon ready. Lemelin watches from afar as both warriors face each other. Small Boots step forward. Lemelin approaches to stop the battle. Her red eyes gleam with unexpected determination and resolve. Lemelin reaches out desperately, calling for them to stop fighting. A pair of boots lands firmly on the rocky ground. The red-haired commander asks Lemelin about the situation. Lemelin stammers that her master said he could end die. The commander notes her master is losing and questions her inaction. Lemelin recalls Evan's strict order for her to stay still. The commander scoffs, asking if Evan is a tyrant. He tells her to move when necessary or all is lost. Radok, wreathed in red energy, declares the second round begin. Evan curses, realizing he has no time to grab his weapon. He recalls the game's item box, but reality has penalty. A figure struggles under the weight of a heavy backpack. Evan shouts for Lemelin, desperately needing a sword. Lemelin frantically searches through her bag for a weapon. Radok's helmet glows, stating it's too bad for them. A violent clash erupts, Evan thinking his too late. The red-haired commander lectures Lemelin on the cost of being unprepared. He yells at Radok, drawing the knight's attention. Evan catches a thrown sword, declaring his arm's debt repaid. Radok charges his crimson blade, meeting Evan's newly caught weapon. A close-up shows Evan's gauntleted hand gripping the sword's hilt. The weapons lock golden energy, straining against crimson fury. A massive explosion of red and gold energy bursts forth. Evan realizes the power gap between them is still vast. The two warriors are locked in a desperate, sparking struggle. Full Moon watches silently over the raging battlefield. Evan stands, battered eyes locked on the charging Dark Commander. Lemelin's red eyes blaze with sudden, fierce determination. Crimson slashes tear through the air as Evan barely dodge. Radok snarls, frustrated he can't read Evan's earlier technique. Evan blocks, desperately, sparks exploding from his strained weapon. The hooded knight grits his teeth, forcing himself to endure. He recalls endless training, all leading to this very moment. Radok acknowledges his opponent's unyielding fighting spirit with respect. The Dark Commander's crimson blade burns with terrifying killing energy. Evan's visor glows gold. His enemy finally shifted stance. Time, golden light erupts as Evan channels everything into one strike. Both warriors clash violently, gold and crimson energies colliding catastrophically. Evan's weapon shatters the blade, embedding into cracked earth. Lemelin gasps in horror as Evan stares at his broken sword. Radok stands beneath the moon, acknowledging his fallen opponent's strength. The Dark Commander grips his weapon, declaring he has analyzed everything. Crimson energy surges violently from Radok's blade, ready to finish. Dark armored boots crack the ground as red power radiates outward. Radok prepares his devastating final assault with overwhelming force. Evan's gauntleted hand reaches desperately towards something hidden beneath, his fingers close around a glowing crimson stone pulsing with power. Evan charges forward, recklessly shouting about playing fair this time. He hurls the red crystal. Radok scoffs, calling it useful. The Dark Commander's eyes widen in shock, recognizing the crimson stone. Evan dives toward Lemelin, shouting desperately for her to prepare. Lemelin's eyes blaze with determination, refusing to stay behind. A massive explosion erupts where their weapons collide violently. Golden sparks rain down beneath the silent watching moon. Rydok emerges from smoke voice dripping with contempt. The Dark Commander mocks Evan's pitiful attempt at resistance. A strange trident-like weapon appears, catching everyone off guard. Raydok's helmet glows crimson with insulted fury at this mockery. Evan stands calmly, claiming has been completely serious all along. The two warriors face each other across the misty battlefield. Raydok sneers down, questioning Evan's self-proclaimed knighthood. Evan explains his unconventional weapon choice with eerie calm. The masked warrior questions rigid traditions of noble combat. Raydok explodes with rage. No knight would ever use net. Evan tilts his head, questioning what true knighthood really mean. The Dark Commander freezes, caught completely off guard by the question. Evan taunts him, playfully warning against calling for help later. Raydok's armored foot stomps down, cracking the earth beneath him. The furious commander orders his soldiers not to interfere. He declares this duel carries Rydok Schultein's personal authority. The Dark Knights stand motionless, obeying their captain's command. A blinding explosion tears across the battlefield suddenly. The Dark Knights watch from the ridge, unable to intervene. Lemelin and her companion stare in confusion at the Chow. Evan's masked face reveals a knowing, triumphant smirk beneath. Raydok's burning helmet trembles with shocked, furious disbelief. Dark energy crackles as Raydok's armored hand reaches out desperately. The Dark Commander staggers, crimson flames flickering around him. Evan grips his trident net weapon, admitting his current skills aren't enough. His visor gleams as a dangerous thought forms. What if this were his first fight against Raydok? Golden light pulses through Evan's gauntlet as he grasps the enchanted rope net. He leaps dramatically overhead, net swirling with holy energy. The massive net spirals downward through the night sky. Evan hurls it directly at the crimson-wreathed Dark Commander below. Raydok snarls, worthless, raising his blazing blade to cut it apart. Red energy slashes through the ropes, but they don't sever cleanly. Evan reveals his trap. Larbith's stem makes the net nearly uncuttable. Raydok's furious helmet stares through the tightening rope. The Dark Commander realizes holy water burns his dark energy on contact. Evan casually adds that silver was mixed in too, just for good measure. Rydok calls him a coward. Evan questions fighting fair when survival's at stake. Evan reaches up and removes his own helmet deliberately. His face is revealed, young, sharp features, golden eyes gleaming with determination. He stands triumphantly over the netted commander, declaring it's now his turn. The red-haired commander gasps in shock, recognizing the face beneath. Under the silent moon, Evan stands victorious over his trapped enemy. His face darkens with resolve, admitting reaching this point was difficult. Golden eyes burn with cold certainty. What comes next will be easy. The silver trident and holy water items shimmer, impossibly powerful for early game. Evan smirks, declaring his different from any beginner following a walkthrough. Both warriors face each other under purple clouds. Evan armed, Raydok still trapped. Evan's mind flashes to the hero's memories and abilities he now holds. His armored feet shift, ready to execute a long-planned strategy. The hooded warrior stands firm, declaring he came prepared for the fight. A close-up reveals his determined eyes, recalling ancient gladiatorial combat. He explains the retiarius style, using a net and trident. Golden energy flares around his legs as he moves with purpose. Evan casts his net, successfully ensnaring the powerful Dark Commander. Rydok, trapped, admits the net was the right move to restrict him. The knight notes his weaknesses but is shocked by Evan's changed spear technique. Raydok's helmet glows with disbelief, questioning how this is possible. Evan smirks confidently, his plan unfolding exactly as intended. The Dark Commander struggles against the ropes, trying to break free. Evan reveals another net, asking if Rydok thought he only brought one. Raydok's helmet glares, determined to escape the constricting trap. Evan lunges with his trident, attacking the immobilized knight. Rydok plans to use his shield to block and break the net. The commander realizes Evan threw a second net, complicating his escape. Evan states this isn't his first time fighting Rydok, confusing him. Rydok's helmeted face shows shock, demanding to know what Evan mean. A vision shows Evan's direct path, successfully isolating Rydok for a duel. The plan becomes clear, using silver tridents and holy water as weakness. From Raydok's perspective, Evan stands victorious, having orchestrated the entire scenario. The trapped commander denies it, desperately calling it all mere luck. Scene continues with the next story beat. Evan taunts the trapped commander, revealing his net was just mockery. He presses his advantage, asking why the Dark Knight doesn't surrender. Raydok's fury explodes, his crimson energy burning against the enchanted rope. The humiliated knight demands a proper duel, calling for a fair sword fight. Evan admits his stamina is nearly gone, but he sees one final chance. Raydok roars his intent to kill, his power surging violently. Evan's eyes gleam. He needed his opponent this furious and off balance. The Dark Commander lunges, believing Evan's aerial position is a fatal mistake. Evan calmly states he warned him, landing with practiced ease. He reveals this exact scenario isn't his first time executing it. Rydok screams in denial, refusing to believe has been outplayed before. The two clash again, a storm of red and gold energy erupting. A close-up shows Evan's eye glowing with absolute focused determination. He dashes forward in a blur of golden light, committing fully. Evan unleashes his ultimate technique, Cadiz Silver Moon's Spear. A cataclysmic beam of light meets Rydok's crimson onslaught head-on. The resulting energy pillar tears through the battlefield toward the heaven. Devastating beam pierces the night sky like a second sun. Rydok's armor begins to crack and shatter under the immense pressure. His crimson blade splinters, unable to withstand the holy power. The force throws both warriors back, ending the violent exchange. A colossal explosion of light and dark energy consumes the area. Evan stands amidst the smoke, watching the result of his all-out attack. The Albon Citadel event concludes with a final blinding flash. Evan watches the lingering energy dissipate, the battle finally over. Evan reveals the hidden artifact gained from defeating Rydok. A crimson gem set in a gauntlet glows with power. Evan looks at it, calling it useful for the future. A red-haired figure shouts, "Hang!" and leaps down. A knight's helmet lies abandoned under the northern light. A white-haired companion watches the scene unfold from afar. The red-haired man screams Hans in anguish. He confronts Evan, his face shadowed with fury. Next, he grabs Evan, demanding to know what happened. He angrily questions why someone like Evan is here. Evan calmly states he is not Hang, confusing him. The man warns Evan not to fuck with him. He grins, insisting there's no way he wouldn't recognize him. Evan internally notes explaining possession would be a hassle. He sighs, thinking it's a real hassle to explain. The red-haired man punches Evan, demanding he say something. Lemelin watches the violent confrontation with wide, shocked eye. Evan tells Lemelin it's time to go, startling her. He states Hez leaving, and she can stay if she want. Lemelin panics, begging him not to abandon her. Evan looks back, saying his work here is finished. He thinks defeating Rydok will bring powerful enemies after him. Evan and Lemelin walk away, leaving the defeated man behind. The full moon shines over a sky filled with fiery ember. Scene fades, leaving the consequences of this encounter unknown. Boots crunch over ash-pink hair splayed on ruined cobblestone. The red-haired fighter kneels alone in burning ruins, surrounded by corpse. Crimson eyes narrow with grief and burning determination. He searches desperately but cannot find Hans among the fallen. Rage builds as he grips a bloodied remnant tightly. He curses, demanding answers about what happened while unconscious. Flames lick behind him as he resolves to search. Dark forests stretch endlessly. He doesn't know if Hans survived. A hooded figure faces a monster, unimpressed by its strength. The beast lunges, jaws wide, as he dodges with practiced ease. He holds up a crude sketch beside a wanted poster. Despite killing monsters and saving lives, something still haunts him. He shows the drawing to strangers desperately searching for answer. Skeletons swarm him, but Hans remains impossible to locate. A healer tends to him. The search has become his regret. He stares at a sketch of his sleeping friend, obsessed. A lone silhouette stands against the sky, driven by loyalty. His lips form a single name, Han. A monster strikes mid-reunion, cutting his shocked exclamation short. Glowing eyes watch from dark woods beneath a pale moon. A dark-haired stranger sits calmly by campfire, preparing something. The white-haired companion watches nervously, questioning his action. He tosses herbs into the flames, sparks dancing upward. For a moment he explains it's pibenso, a medicinal herb with special property. Burning 30 minutes grants 12 hours of protection, he reveal. Evan hands a small pouch to Lemelin by the campfire. The fire crackles, casting long shadows in the quiet forest. An awkward, heavy silence hangs between the two companions. Lemelin nervously asks Evan, who he truly I. Evan claims he's just an ordinary wanderer. Lemelin starts to protest, but Evan sharply tells her to be quiet. A sudden, menacing presence sweeps through the dark wood. Gleaming, armored feet descend from the shadows above. Lemelin looks up, her face filled with dread. Evan states it's too late. They are already surrounded. Several armored knights emerge, encircling their small campsite. Lemelin grips her blade, calling out to her master. A voice identifies them as a knight with an attendant. Evan confirms his identity with a casual, unbothered tone. A blonde knight introduces himself as the commander of the 5th Knighthood. He gives his name, Albrechito Kelvin, with a confident smile. Evan responds with indifferent disinterest, asking what this has to do with him. The knight politely asks Evan to come with them. Evan questions the reason for this request. The knight cheerfully refuses to provide any explanation. Evan challenges him, asking what happens if he refuses. The knight's smile turns cold, hinting at forceful persuasion. Evan sighs, reluctantly agreeing to avoid unnecessary conflict. The knight thanks him for his cooperation, still smiling. Evan internally notes the knight uses imperial orders as a convenient excuse. Evan complains about Distanze's knights being total gangster. Golden energy crackles around his wooden sword, ready for battle. His golden eyes narrow with fierce determination. He grips his weapon, planning to strike first. Evan leaps through the air with devastating Cadiz sword skill. He rushes in, disrupting their formation before it solidify. His eyes burn with absolute focus and resolve. Multiple armored knights face him down in the darkness. He admits he can't fully channel Cadiz's power yet. Evan stands calmly before the white-haired armored opponent. The knight smirks, asking if he plans to resist. Evan looks genuinely shocked by what he's witnessing. He sighs, confident there won't be any problem. Lemelin appears confused, revealing she intended to follow them. Evan strikes her down with his wooden sword. Lemelin gathers their luggage as they prepare to leave. The knight offers them a carriage for transport. Knight laughs heartily, appearing genuinely friendly. His expression suddenly darkens. He sensed killing intent. Evan's eyes glow ominously, his entire demeanor transformed. His footsteps carry new weight and hidden purpose. The knight watches Evan disappear into the dark forest. Flashback shows warriors wielding specialized weapons with unique stride. The knight questions how someone masters multiple weapons. He dismisses it as fatigue, making him paranoid. A carriage travels through a misty forest, escorted by silent rider. The carriage wheel skids to a sudden, dusty halt. Lemelin grips Evan's arm, trembling from the surrounding men. She explains her deep fear of crowds of men. Evan notes Shiz clinging to him, a man herself. He recalls buying her from a slave market. Her trauma from soldiers explains this intense fear. Evan decides to overlook her clinging this time. The full moon illuminates their continued night journey. Evan states they'll arrive by morning, but must stop first. A knight questions the detour, concerned for the horse. Evan dismisses the knight's fatigue with a cold smirk. Lemelin falls asleep, leaning against his side. A close-up shows her peaceful sleeping face. Her eyes suddenly snap open, glowing an eerie red. She thinks Evan is strange, always harsh yet protective. He drools in his sleep, unaware of her turmoil. Lemelin smiles softly, feeling safe beside him. Her internal monologue reveals a deep hidden conflict. She feels at peace with him, but a but linger. Her gloved hand clenches, hiding a secret fear. She worries he would hate her if he knew. Lemelin clasps her hands, a blue aura flaring. A glowing blue pendant pulses with mysterious power. The pendant's light intensifies, promising dangerous revelations ahead. Carriage travels through a sun-dappled forest. Evan winces, clutching his chest inside the moving vehicle. He notes the fatigue from his fight with Radok still linger. Suddenly, he reflects on gaining skills from past heroes, but can't fully use them. He explains has forcibly combining their abilities, causing strain. There, he needs to harmonize the skills. Lemelin pleads not to be abandoned. He looks out the window, stating they're almost at Puxo village. A knight peers in, asking if something is wrong. Evan warns the knight it's best not to go to the village. He reveals he heard there's a plague in the village ahead. The blonde knight reacts with shocked disbelief. Evan confirms it, saying he doesn't want Lemelin to catch it. The knight insists they must go there anyway. He smirks, assuring them they have a cleric who can cure plague. Evan looks skeptical, questioning if the knight truly understand. The knight proudly declares their duty to help the weak. Evan mutters a curse under his breath, clearly annoyed. The carriage emerges from the trees, revealing the village. Villagers cry out for the knights to save them as they arrive. The knight orders his men to help villagers and check for monster. Evan stretches casually as they disembark from the carriage. He asks the commander if he can look around for a bit. The knight agrees, but warns him not to go too far. He cautions that monsters causing the disease may be nearby. Evan internally notes the knight isn't wrong, but the real problem lies elsewhere. Evan and Lemelin arrive at a village plagued by green moss disease. The disease is described as a horrifying moss-like growth consuming the body. A villager is shown in agony, moss visibly spreading across his skin. A desperate woman with moss on her neck watches them paw. She begs Evan for water for her dehydrated child. The woman explains her child cannot drink due to the sickness. Evan coldly turns his back on her plea. Lemelin watches the desperate crowd, feeling their silent suffering. The woman pleads directly to Lemelin, calling her master. Evan looks annoyed, clicking his tongue at the scene. His mechanical hand suddenly clenches with a sharp metallic sound. Lemelin's eyes widen in shock at his sudden movement. Evan sharply orders the villagers to get back. His golden eyes glare, warning them not to come closer. The sick woman apologizes, terrified, begging for her life. Evan tells Lemelin to get the water from their bag. Lemelin happily agrees, thinking he is being considerate. Evan swiftly grabs the water skin from her hand. He holds it, his expression unreadable and serio. Inside him, he tosses the water skin to the shocked, sick woman. Evan tells her to take it and get lost. The woman cries with relief, thanking the silver-haired child. Evan looks miffed, complaining that she thanked Lemelin instead. Lemelin thanks her master, but he warns her to be careful. He reveals the terrifying truth. The plague spreads through contact. Lemelin brightens, relieved. She just needs to stay away from trouble. Evan catches her drifting, warns her not to help those people. He admits forcing obedience feels wrong, wrestling with his own logic. Lemelin gazes up innocently, completely unaware of the danger ahead. Evan walks off, joking about cutting her salary, leaving her confused. His expression hardens. Infected people aren't worth the risk to him. He vaguely recalls something important happening here, but can't quite remember. Evan sits alone on a well's edge, deep in thought. Lemelin beams with genuine gratitude toward her master's unexpected kindness. He hands her supplies, grumbling it's worth it to keep peace. Evan realizes she relates to those people through her own painful past. His tone shifts, serious, demanding Lemelin swear an oath to him. He orders her never to help anyone without his permission first. Evan points dramatically downward into the dark well behind them. They plunge together into the abyss, falling through complete darkness. Then they splash down in underground waters. Evan knew this place existed. His golden eyes narrow with recognition and cold calculation. A torch ignites, confirming his memories of this forgotten location. Ancient stone arches stretch endlessly through the flooded underground tunnel. Lemelin clutches her weapon, nervously asking where they've descended. Evan dons his helmet. These sewers birthed the plague, ravaging everything. A terrifying creature emerges from the shadows with glowing red eye. Evan warns Lemelin bluntly that following him here could kill her. His armored hand tightens around his weapon, ready for combat. He strikes the beast while challenging her loyalty. Will she stay? A massive rat creature falls, struck mid-leap by a swift blade. The white-haired companion groans, clearly exhausted from the encounter. Monstrous rat twitches, green pustules pulsing on its back. The companion glances sideways, hearing their mentor's sharp voice. Masked mentor holds out a knife, demanding they take it. The mentor scolds them, asking if they've forgotten the training. Companion stammers, admitting preference for ranged crossbow combat. The mentor questions their reliance on distance, pushing for close combat. A boot steps forward. Survival demands diverse experiences. The mentor insists. The masked figure dashes forward, demanding their companion endure this trial. Glowing red eyes emerge from the darkness. A swarm of giant rat. The mentor faces the horde alone in the torchlit dungeon corridor. Monstrous rats charge forward, claws scraping stone with terrifying speed. The masked fighter leaps, blade drawn, meeting the first beast head-on. A rat lunges with bared fangs at the hooded warrior. Green poison sprays as the mentor cuts through the creature's flesh. The masked fighter carves through multiple rats in a single fluid motion. Mentor glances back, expecting the companion to handle one rat. The white-haired one screams, paralyzed by fear as a rat approach. They swing the knife wildly, barely missing the creature's head. The mentor watches, bewildered by such panic over a single rat. A memory surfaces. Lemelin fought surprisingly well with ranged weapons before. Close combat changes everything. You see the enemy's weapons up close. The giant rat looms over the terrified companion, fangs dripping. Claws slash downward. The horror of flesh being torn fills their mind. Pain floods Lemelin's mind, every emotion crashing into one sharp feeling. Despite Kadiz's skills strengthening her, the Wolfercorn fights still haunt. A massive wolf creature looms, its glowing eyes burning with primal fury. Lemelin grips her knife, realizing her ranged Siguen left her unprepared here. Evan decides she must learn alone. No more crutches, only growth. He orders her to grab the long stick from her bag. Survival depends on it. Lemelin frantically digs through her backpack, searching for the item. She pulls out a wooden stick, confused, asking if this is it. Evan commands her to slam it against the wall. Sparks fly instantly. The stick erupts into brilliant flame, transforming into a blazing torch. Lemelin stares wide-eyed at the fire, questioning what this weapon is. Evan explains it's the torch of Lakma. Light scares plague rats away. A rat hesitates before the flames, and Evan demands she kill it. Lemelin stammers in shock, the rat crouching below her. She realizes hesitation means losing everything. She must stay beside her master. Closing her eyes, she recalls how Evan always faces fear head-on. Her eyes snap open, determination burning brighter than any torch. Lemelin lunges forward, knife raised, torch blazing behind her. Her blade carves a clean arc through the darkness toward the beast. Green blood sprays as her strike connects. She's done it. Evan watches silently from the shadows as she stands victorious. Lemelin pants heavily, the torch still flickering in her trembling hand. Ancient stone corridors stretch endlessly ahead, lit by distant wall torch. She counts quietly. 23 rats defeated so far in this nightmare. Evan moves forward through the darkness, his masked face unreadable. He touches the ancient wall, confirming the layout matches his memory. His mechanical fingers trace the cold stone surface carefully. The masked figure straightens up, making a decision. He holds up 2 glowing red gems, startling Lemelin. The precious stones drop onto the dungeon floor. He hurls a gem downward into the darkness below. Next, he warns Lemelin to duck as the gem fall. She questions his sudden command, confused by his urgency. The gems pulse with crimson energy, blood-like light spreading. Lemelin's eyes widen in terror at what unfold. A massive explosion erupts, flames consuming the chamber. Smoke clears to reveal a gaping hole blasted through stone. He strides forward through the lingering smoke, undeterred. Lemelin's soul nearly leaves her body from shock. He tells her to stop overreacting and follow him. She observes the rats here are smaller than expected. They enter a cave littered with bones and green mist. He asks if she's all right as they venture deeper. She mentions the bag feels heavy on her shoulder. He clarifies his asking about the overwhelming stench. She claims she can tolerate the foul smell. He notes her resilience, surprises him, then spots the plague source. For a moment, he considers shooting the creature, but realizes the rats will swarm. He understands attacking now would doom them both. Suddenly, he demands she hand over the bag, preparing a different strategy. A quiver reveals explosive arrows, tipped with firestone instead of metal. The masked mentor holds one up, explaining Pavel's signature combination technique. Lemelin worries about the weight and balance, making them hard to shoot. The mentor tilts his helmeted head, asking what she mean. He draws the bow, demanding she etch this lesson into her brain. Golden energy surges as he aims, calling out the first target position. The arrow releases with blinding light. Pavel's earned that hero title for reason. Projectile streaks through darkness. Accuracy matters less than strategic placement. A devastating explosion erupts deep within the rat-infested tunnel system. Lemelin's eyes widen in pure amazement at the destructive power displayed. The mentor extends another firestone arrow toward his trembling student. She accepts it nervously, receiving instructions for the next target position. A glowing red-eyed rat freezes, sensing the incoming projectile's heat. Firestone detonates on impact, engulfing the creature in searing flame. The mentor commands again. Lemelin responds, eagerly learning the pattern. He explains rat behavior. They panic predictably when escape routes get blocked. Drawing another arrow, he predicts their next emergence point perfectly. Another explosion tears through stone, scattering debris and rat corpse. Position 6 o'clock. Fire erupts from a new burrow entrance. He rattles off remaining coordinates rapidly, systematically eliminating every escape route. Multiple detonations chain across the tunnel, creating an inescapable inferno. One final arrow remains in his mechanical grip. A massive swarm of rats huddles together. The arrow descends toward them. The projectile pierces through the largest rat, red energy crackling. A cataclysmic explosion annihilates the entire swarm in brilliant fire. Lemelin gasps, dodging a sudden unseen attack. A strange ring flies past her, thrown from the shadow. A massive armored rat creature with glowing red eyes emerge. It leaps down into the cavern, confronting the masked figure. The masked figure taunts it, asking if it's finally awake. Monstrous rat snarls, its mechanical-looking jaw snapping. It lets out a terrifying echoing roar in the tunnel. The creature pauses, sensing something amiss in the darkness. From a ledge, the masked figure and Lemelin watch it. He mocks the beast, asking what it can do now. The rat creature's face twists in a silent, furious snarl. Text reveals this hidden dungeon is unlike any other. The creature's powerful claws dig into the stone floor. Figure admits he couldn't defeat the boss alone. He considers using a special artifact he obtained. His mechanical hand holds a glowing red gem pendant. He plans to summon and tame a powerful being. There he activates the artifact, calling for Rydok Schultein. A violent fiery summoning ritual erupts in the chamber. A new armored figure appears, demanding to know who called him. The summoned knight is confused, his own identity unclear. He panics, disoriented by his sudden arrival in this place. Lemelin and the unmasked Evan watch, noting his vulnerability. The summoned Rydok stumbles, completely lost and distressed. Evan watches calmly, his plan now set in motion. The armored rat lunges claws, slashing toward Rydok's guard. Impact sends Rydok crashing against the cavern wall. Golden flames flicker around Rydok as he snarls at the beast. Red energy swirls as Rydok calls forth Alboro. Evan shouts from the ledge, demanding Rydok give it everything. Rydok's helmeted face twists with fury at the human's command. Evan crosses his arms claiming Hell become Rydok's master. The knight laughs mockingly, a human daring to command him. Evan dangles the crimson pendant, his eyes cold and certain. Rydok roars, accusing Evan of underhanded trick. The rat attacks again, forcing Rydok back into combat. Evan smirks. He knew compliance wouldn't come easily. Rydok charges, swearing to end the rat in a single strike. Evan threatens abandonment if that attitude continue. Text reveals the jewel holds Rydok's very lifeline, a perfect shackle. Rydok's confidence shatters, begging Evan to wait. Evan's expression hardens. He offers only two choices. The ultimatum, serve him or rot forever among the rat. Rydok snarls, refusing to bow to such nonsense. Knight and beast circle each other in the misty cavern. Evan claims innocence. He's just a normal human, nothing more. Evan turns away, calling Lemelin to leave the uncooperative knight behind. Rydok's voice cracks, panic creeping in as they walk away. Evan pauses mid-step, glancing back with calculated patience. Rydok reaches out, desperately promising to kill the rat first. Then they'll talk. Evan eyes the bag, annoyed at the summoned knight's arrogance. A wicked grin spreads across his face. He's got a punishment ready. He moves with blinding speed, mechanical hand gleaming. The magic stone shatters on impact, releasing toxic green smoke. Plague creature Kirit emerges, skull face twisted in confusion. Kirit screams, demanding answers from the masked manipulator. Evan explains the stone's true purpose with cold satisfaction. Kirit's crimson eye pulses with newfound unnatural power. The creature surges with excited energy, transforming dangerously. Enraged fists slam the ground, cracking stone beneath raw strength. Rydok lands dramatically, energy crackling around his armored form. Kirit scrambles across the cavern wall, hunting its new prey. Rydok scoffs at the smaller rat's golden flames, igniting his blade. His helmet gleams with terrifying otherworldly golden fire. A massive energy blade materializes, humming with destructive force. Kirit snarls defiantly, challenging the armored knight directly. Rydok Schultein stands, revealed name burning in golden text. Narration hails him as Banta Blackring's most honorable knight. But narration cuts deeper. Knights here are just gangsters without honor. Rydok charges forward, energy exploding around his sweeping strike. The two forces collide, dust swirling between ancient cavern wall. Evan's narration reveals his true goal, destroying Rydok's honor completely. That sinister smile confirms everything went exactly according to plan. A mechanical hand reaches down, gripping Rydok's helmet possessively. A hooded figure appears, taunting the struggling knight below. From their ledge, Evan and Lemelin watch the armored rat creature below. A cloaked figure lands gracefully in the cavern, confronting the beast. The masked knight, Rydok, asks the creature if it needs help. Monstrous rat snarls back, refusing any assistance with fury. Rydok taunts the beast, telling it to do its best. His helmet glows with intense golden energy as he speaks. The creature lunges, but Rydok effortlessly dodges its massive claw. Rat lets out a terrifying echoing roar in the tunnel. Evan watches the exchange calmly from their hidden vantage point. Sharp stone spikes suddenly erupt from the ground around the creature. Rydok leaps into the air, his body wreathed in swirling energy. His sword ignites with a brilliant, fiery red glow. He brings the blade down in a massive vertical slash of light. The monstrous rat screams as the energy strike cleaves through it. Creature collapses heavily onto the cavern floor, seemingly defeated. Rydok lands in a crouch, his weapon still humming with power. Evan is shocked, thinking the knight killed the boss so easily. However, the fallen creature's body begins to twitch on the ground. Rydok's glowing mask tilts, sensing something is amiss with his kill. The rat creature's wounds begin to seal its body, regenerating rapidly. Dark viscous fluid drips from its recovering limbs as it stands. Rydok grips his sword tighter, preparing to strike again. He walks forward, his entire form blazing with renewed golden aura. Evan realizes the knight's fatal mistake in his assessment. The hidden dungeon's true gimmick is its boss' endless regeneration. Text reveals Kirit's secret. It feeds on subordinates to recover endlessly. A dark knight stands ready, golden flames swirling around his armored form. The trait persistence activates. Damage numbers flash as the creature refuses to fall. Text explains Kirit's HP becomes infinite while plague rats still exist nearby. The massive beast lunges, downward claws extended toward the smaller fighter. Kirit's armored form crashes down, red eyes blazing with unnatural power. A figure gets slammed into the groundstone, cracking beneath the impact. Rydok kneels, sword planted, muttering disbelief at being bested by a mere monster. Close up on Evan's mask. Persistence resets after full recovery, making this fight endable. The silver-masked knight draws his glowing blade, readying another assault. A brilliant blue-white energy slash cuts through the darkness at blinding speed. Kirit's wolf skull face snarls as the energy blade connects with its hide. A massive fire explosion engulfs the creature in searing orange flame. Evan confronts Rydok, asking what he's planning. Rydok tells him to watch closely. Text explains Kirit can't summon more rats until fully recovered from damage. The beast charges forward again, muscles coiling for another devastating strike. Kirit's massive form lunges through smoke claws tearing at the air. Rydok exhales golden energy flickering around his masked face. A violent clash erupts. Blinding light and shockwaves fill the chamber. Close-up of Kirit's skull, face red eye burning with primal hunger. A massive sword strikes the ground, golden energy exploding outward in all direction. Evan realizes Kirit is stalling, buying time to recover its stamina. The beast lunges at Evan, who stands his ground against the charging nightmare. Evan ignites with golden flames, taunting how many times he's defeated this creature. A devastating golden energy blast erupts, shaking the entire cavern floor. Evan declares the fight is over, golden energy swirling. Rydok's helmet glows intensely, readying a final strike. A massive, fiery golden slash cleaves through the air. The impact creates a blinding explosion of light and force. Monstrous rat is obliterated in the devastating blast. The cavern falls silent smoke, clearing to reveal Evan. A mechanical hand reaches for a glowing blue crystal. Evan holds the crystal, confronting the stunned Rydok. Evan coldly states Rydok failed his expectation. He dismisses the knight holding a pulsating red jewel. Rydok panics, begging Evan to wait as he walks away. Evan pauses, noting Rydok's perception of him has shifted. Lemelin agrees from the ledge above, ready to move. Evan tells Lemelin to come down to solve the village problem. Lemelin leaps from the ledge carrying a heavy bag. Evan watches, confused by her unconventional descent. Lemelin lands hard, sitting dazed amidst the dust. Evan questions why she didn't just drop the bag first. He tells her to follow as they have much to do. The two walk through the quiet, misty cavern. They approach several tall metallic poles stuck in the ground. Evan examines the pole, stating he has found what he sought. The scene reveals a gruesome trail of blood and rat carcass. Evan looks upon the carnage, narration hinting at a harsh trial. A massive pile of dead rats fills the cavern, a grim testament. The plague's true source, contaminated water flowing underground. He readies his blade, sensing darkness ahead. His strike purifies the corrupted waterway below. Villagers drank poisoned water, falling gravely ill. He examines the crimson stone carefully. Lemelin questions his plan while he prepares. Red firestone and sacred white stone revealed. The sacred stone will purify the waterway. Lemelin's eyes widen with sudden realization. Flashbacks show villagers misunderstanding his true intention. She realizes he was solving the root cause. Lemelin eagerly offers help, but he refuses. Disappointment clouds her face at his rejection. He stands ready, staff in hand, focused. Inside him, he secures ropes while Lemelin watches quietly. Working with stones and rope, she observes. Both stare downward into the depths below. He finally asks if she wants to help. Her face lights up with pure excitement. He warns of plague rats blocking their return. Lemelin panics at the mention of plague rat. Fear grips her chest, hands trembling slightly. A memory speaks, fear imprisons those who hesitate. She steels herself, refusing to be abandoned. He demands she prove her worth here. Evan stares down at the abandoned backpack on cold stone. His golden eyes gleam with quiet, calculating satisfaction. The slavery seal shatters. Freedom burns in crimson text. A pale hand reaches upward, choosing this path willingly. Lemelin crawls forward, terrified of becoming useless to Master. She steels herself. Master never asked the impossible before. Lemelin stands at the cave entrance, rats circling below. Gripping her knife tight, she refuses abandonment again. Ice erupts skyward. She must become a useful tool. She slashes through rats, whispering a bit more. Blue energy cuts through darkness. Just a bit more. Blood and frost mix. She must become stronger. The camera tilts upward toward open sky above. Evan sits calmly among dead rats, watching from behind. Hez never let Lemelin fight completely alone before. Lemelin struggles, sweat, dripping teeth gritted hard. Evan wanted to see how she handles danger alone. She dodges lunging rats, barely staying ahead. Lemelin follows his training despite her clumsiness. Evan stands satisfied. That's enough testing for now. Lemelin turns confused. Master, he calls out, defending alone means missing strike chance. Lemelin grips her blade, understanding flooding her eye. She charges forward, confronting the red-eyed rat directly. Ice trails behind her. Lemelin finally smiles mid-combat. Lemelin falls through darkness, rats swarming from above. The white-haired fighter gasps, sweat dripping down their face. Lemelin sprints through corridors, clutching the heavy bag tightly. Determined, red eyes narrow. This battle isn't finished yet. A red-eyed rat lunges claws, slashing toward Lemelin. Lemelin kicks the beast away while protecting the precious bag. Evan questions why Lemelin fights burdened by such weight. Master told me to keep it safe, Lemelin insists. A glowing crystal hangs above fallen rats. Power contained within. Evan reveals the truth. This crystal is Lemelin's lifeline. A portal opens as Evan warns rats are approaching soon, just by myself. Lemelin's voice trembles with uncertainty. A rope descends salvation or another test awaits below. A mechanical claw drops from above, offering escape upward. Evan pulls the rope, asking why Lemelin doubts him. Lemelin grips the weapon, realizing this master differs greatly. Fire ignites behind crimson eyes. Resolve hardening within. Suspended on rope, Lemelin fights the swarm below. Red energy explodes as Lemelin strikes the rat creature. They never end. Lemelin despairs against the endless horde. Ice spikes rain down from above. Evan's intervention arrives. The spikes impale rats, clearing the path below. Lemelin's eyes widen. Help has finally come. A grateful smile breaks through as Lemelin calls master. Evan stands above in golden flames, pulling Lemelin to safety. Evan grits his teeth, golden energy surging as he hauls the rope. He braces against the ledge muscles, straining to pull her up. Lemelin rockets upward through the dark shaft wind, whipping her hair. Her knife slips free, clattering onto the cold stone below. She continues ascending rapidly, the rope her only lifeline now. Lemelin bursts into open sky, Evan waiting below with outstretched arm. She crashes onto his back, clinging desperately as he steadies himself. Evan smirks, warmly offering rare praise. Good job, Lemelin. 2 treasures revealed, Curette's magic stone and Radak's submission seal. Evan contemplates Lemelin's future value, a calculated smile forming. But her White Flower tribe origins complicate things. Disadvantages linger heavily. He sets those worries aside, gazing at the village below. A hand grips the crimson stone energy, crackling violently around it. Evan holds the activated crystal. Preparations are finally complete. He reaches into his bag, murmuring it's time to finish die. The red crystal strikes the ground, exploding with brilliant prismatic light. A peaceful village stretches below windmills, turning under clear ski. Silver-haired hands weave intricate holy magic, golden circles spinning. The spell intensifies, light radiating from complex arcane pattern. Suddenly, the magic shatters. Golden fragments scattering into nothingness. The healer stares in disbelief. Even holy magic failed completely. A scarred man questions bitterly. Is this what understanding mean? A blonde knight approaches, finding the silver-haired woman with their captain. Desperation fills his eyes. Is there truly nothing left to try? The armored knight stands alone, dark energy swirling ominously around him. A knight stares bewildered at the massive geyser of clean water. Villagers rejoice, believing the heavens have blessed their parched land. A sick woman prays, thanking the gods for this miracle. A knight captain barks orders, forming a defensive line. The geyser erupts violently, spewing plague rats into the village square. Captain commands his knights to protect villagers and exterminate the monster. In a peaceful field, Evan smiles, his plan unfolding as expected. He watches the distant water column, leaving the rats to the knight. Then he tells Lemelin they should move quickly now. Lemelin, holding flowers, agrees enthusiastically, ready to follow. Evan sighs in relief, the hard part seemingly over. He notes their gathered flower bags, expecting someone to arrive soon. The knight captain finds them, asking what they're doing here. Evan feigns confusion, reminding the captain he was exploring alone. The captain internally fumes, trying to maintain diplomatic relation. Lemelin happily chases a butterfly, oblivious to the tension. The captain confronts Evan, asking if he caused the well explosion. Evan calmly admits it, linking it to killing the underground monster. The captain wonders if his own knights could have defeated such a beast. He realizes he cannot gauge Evan's true power level at all. The captain requests their help cleaning up the village aftermath. Evan agrees, but first wants to finish gathering the medicinal flower. The captain is stunned, learning the plague rats fled only to the village. He assumes his knights can easily handle the rats already there. Evan reveals the urgent need, treating the villagers' green moss disease. Evan reveals knowledge about the disease from an old book. He orders Lemelin to gather purple flowers from the meadow. The knight admits holy magic failed against this plague. He promises knight support if the flower proves effective. Evan smiles, accepting help without any hesitation. They arrive at the village, finding chaos and hooded figure. Evan and the knight march toward the village chief. Inside a dark cabin, someone coughs weakly at a table. The afflicted Chief Moss, growing on skin, welcomes visitor. Chief begins greeting his unexpected guests warmly. The chief's eyes widen in absolute shock at something. Lemelin gasps, being called the prophesied white-haired savior. The chief reveals an ancient prophecy about a white-haired savior. A vision flashes, a radiant figure running through darkness. The prophecy promises all suffering will wash away. Evan studies Lemelin, asking if Shay's truly the one. He doubts her savior status, despite her white flower origin. Evan questions what abilities a former slave could possess. The chief desperately grabs their hands, thanking the savior. Lemelin stammers, claiming she's done absolutely nothing. The chief insists her mere presence brought him salvation. Lemelin turns to Evan nervously, calling him master. Evan ignores the prophecy, asking about available vessel. Someone rummages through a bag, searching for supply. Evan declares Hellcraft to cure himself, the savior's medicine. The flower of Ambrosia grows using contaminated water. Clean water purified by the sacred stone mixie. Hands crush purple petals together in wooden bowl. Lemelin realizes this, creates the green moss disease cure. She smiles brightly, finally able to help villager. Evan sits alone on a village bench waiting. He wonders why the trigger hasn't activated yet. Lemelin approaches her master cautiously from behind. She announces the knights helped cure the village illness. Lemelin thanks Evan warmly for everything he's done. Evan coldly replies he doesn't need any thank. Lemelin stands completely stunned by his rejection. A blonde knight arrives greeting Lord Evan casually. Evan mutters about having a slight misunderstanding here. The knight praises him as virtuous, saving the weak. Evan sighs, claiming he didn't do it for praise. The knight calls his humility another admirable virtue. Knight says meeting Evan was truly a blessing. Evan thinks darkly this isn't what he wants. He internally rages about not receiving any reward. Evan walks away dejected, expecting nothing from anyone. An elderly villager approaches Lemelin with a gift. He presents a legendary dagger passed down through generation. The elder says the prophecy speaks of white hair. Lemelin blushes, denying she's any kind of savior. Evan examines the dagger, intrigued as Lemelin watches nervously. The silent, true sword. A legendary quest reward revealed. Evan notes its mediocre stats, but deems it perfect for Lemelin. He offers the blade to her. She hesitates, shocked. Lemelin's hand grips the legendary sword's hilt tightly. She holds it up, eyes wide with pure wonder. Evan watches her joy, thinking this will be his reward instead. He broods internally. He did all the work, she gets the gift. Lemelin notices his stare. He abruptly announces they're leaving for Sitanche. Their carriage rolls down a sunlit road toward the capital. The convoy crosses a precarious wooden bridge through rocky cliff. Hooded ambushers block the path, hurling boulders at the carriage. Evan catches a massive boulder, barehanded, shocking the blonde knight. A scout announces Sitanche is finally in sight ahead. The sprawling capital city stretches far below the cliff's edge. Grand capital of Sitanche gleams under bright ski. Inside the palace, armored guards watch figures approach down the red carpet. Heavy armored footsteps echo through the grand hall's silence. The knight warns Evan. The king is sensitive about the demon threat. Evan, now helmeted, confirms the Vantablack Ring's events are unfolding as expected. The blonde knight questions why he insists on wearing that helmet. Evan explains the disguise belongs to the wandering hero the king seek. Evan and Lemelin approach the throne, the king waiting above. The golden-crowned king of Pinstanch gazes down with piercing eye. Evan kneels, formally introducing himself before the powerful monarch. Evan bows awkwardly, stammering that it's an honor to meet royalty. His crimson eyes narrow slightly, calculating every word carefully. The golden-crowned king hums thoughtfully, studying the masked mercenary. King explains Razgrad's meaning ancient fortress. To the wandering knight, a hooded figure stands rigidly as the terrifying name echoes through the throne room. The masked face reveals nothing but tension radiates from every scratch on that armor. Purple flames illuminate the ancient horror, a fortress demon that nullifies all magic and weapon. Evan's gloved hand clenches. If the hero fell, this quest might already be doomed. He realizes confronting Razgrad now would be pure suicide in his weakened state. The mercenary kneels, claiming such power exceeds what any lone fighter could handle. King raises an eyebrow, noting he hasn't even made a request yet. Evan admits he anticipated the assignment before it was spoken aloud. The king clarifies it's not quite that task, but something connected to it. He assures the mercenary he won't face the demon alone. The king reveals a chosen hero already exists to slay Razgrad. Evan's role is support. Sprawling castle city gleams under peaceful skies, hiding darker truths beneath. Gothic arches frame the throne room's cold, imposing architecture. The king stands alone by the window, red cape pooling behind him like spilled wine. Armored footsteps echo across marble floors. Someone approaches the throne. A blonde knight kneels respectfully, addressing his majesty with practiced formality. Sir Albrecht reports observations about the mysterious mercenary's suspicious behavior. The king strokes his chin, understanding the knight's unspoken concerns completely. He questions whether the mercenary's identity has ever been properly verified. Albrecht confirms. Aside from assuming commoner origins, nothing is certain about him. The king notes the contradiction. A supposed commoner who knows court etiquette perfectly. King Kelvin reflects on meeting countless people throughout his reign. He recalls encountering many mercenaries during his time as king. The king notes a mercenary whose true skill remains hidden. Blonde Knight admits shamefully this observation is accurate. King values the knight's honesty and straightforward nature. He sensed this mercenary was different from other. The knight nervously asks what happens if expectations fail. King ominously replies that outcome would be unfortunate. Scene shifts to a grand hall with chandelier and figure. A polite maid offers assistance to the guest. An elegant tower of pastries and treats sits beautifully arranged. The white-haired girl drools, completely mesmerized by the food. Evan facepalms, warning her not to overeat. He sighs heavily, finally relaxing after removing his armor. The king plots sending a hero to fight the demon. A map reveals Razgrad, Pinstanch, and Cheslow's border. Without intervention, Cheslow suffers far greater damage than Pinstanch. Evan analyzes how Pinstanch exploits heroes to conserve resource. A flashback shows Evan slaying a king crown falling. He recalls the thrill of that first king slaying rout. This time, Evan says the reward justifies avoiding violence. Lemelin overhears King slaying and freezes in pure shock. She desperately tries convincing herself she misheard her master. Suddenly, footsteps approach with crackling energy surrounding them. Lemelin warns Evan. Someone powerful is heading their way. Evan ponders Lemelin's white fox sensitivity through wall. He recalls powerful NPCs should be in royal capital. His eyes narrow, recognizing something crucial. Footsteps echo, approaching their location. Evan waits calmly on the couch with Lemelin. A bandaged hand grips the ornate door handle. A silhouetted figure steps through blinding light. The silver-haired man stares, recognizing Evan. Evan's mind supplies the name Ferox Hesline. Grand chandeliers illuminate the opulent meeting hall. Two powerful figures face each other silently. Ferox's piercing eye asks, "Are you Sir Evan?" Title card reveals, Weapon Master Ferox Hesline. Ferox bows, introducing himself under royal order. Evan smirks, knowingly calling him hero. Ferox laughs, nervously deflecting the hero title. He claims mere luck, unchanged since childhood. Evan notes his background mirrors the original timeline. Evan introduces himself as mercenary with servant Lemelin. Lemelin bows shyly, greeting the newcomer politely. Ferox smiles, warmly pleased to meet them both. Peaceful clouds drift overhead, scene transition. Evan studies wooden training swords in a box. He picks one up, recalling Ferox's slow growth. Evan decides, time to test this legendary weapon master. Evan and Ferox face off on the training grounds, wooden swords ready. Evan addresses him formally, but Ferox insists on dropping the title. Evan grins, asking the weapon master to teach him something new. Ferox smiles warmly, genuinely excited for this sparring session. Their eyes lock, tension crackles as dust erupts between them. Evan launches forward, wooden blades slicing through the air. Evan's golden eyes narrow with deadly focus and calculation. Ferox blocks the strike arms, trembling from the unexpected force. Ferox's eye widens. This mercenary moves impossibly fast. Evan presses the advantage, raining blows from above relentlessly. Ferox grits teeth, barely holding against the overwhelming assault. Ferox explodes backward with a devastating counterattack. The weapon master's blade nearly catches Evan off guard. Evan smirks coldly. Is that truly all the hero ha? Golden light ignites in Evan's eyes. Caddis upward slash, Ferox scrambles to block the devastating technique incoming. Something shifts behind Ferox's eyes, recognition dawning dangerously. His pupil contracts, shock courses through every nerve. Ferox draws a real blade, the atmosphere turning lethal. The weapon master's expression hardens into cold determination. Wooden meets steel. Shockwaves shatter the ground beneath them. Evan's gaze sharpens, sensing something has fundamentally changed. Ferox stares through him, seeing something that shouldn't exist. Both swords spin skyward, one embedding Shen into earth. Evan exhales slowly. This weapon master just became interesting. Ferox calls the sparring match and Evan gracefully concedes defeat. Ferox grins, demanding Evan face him properly next time. Ferox realizes Evan's combat stats exceed his calculation. Evan puzzles over Ferox's impossible growth rate. Both warriors stand beneath the castle's towering spire. A mysterious newcomer applauds their impressive sparring display. Lemelin watches nervously as the stranger claps approvingly. The newcomer praises Evan's skills worthy of royal recommendation. Evan and Ferox both recognize the name Joseph. Ferox introduces Joseph as their traveling merchant and coachman. Joseph greets them warmly, and Evan connects the dot. Evan smiles, welcoming their new companion aboard the journey. Green healing magic swirls from an outstretched hand. A flashback reveals a young girl blessed with healing power. Her mysterious ability glowed with incredible otherworldly power. Crowds gathered drawn to her miraculous healing gift, but her magic consumed her own precious life force. The girl smiles through the pain, hiding her suffering. She couldn't refuse pleas, draining herself completely for other. The exhausted girl collapses into an unnatural, dangerous sleep. Young Evan kneels beside her bed, whispering her name. Evelyn wakes, asking if he ventured into dangerous mountains again. Young Evan's face glows with residual healing magic. He begs her to stop risking her life for other. Evan silently vows to heal his sister no matter what. Moonlight bathes misty trees in an eerie silent glow. A covered wagon drifts through thick fog on a lonely road. A traveler recalls hearing rumors during his long journey. A white-haired figure speaks of the fountain of Vitalis saving his sister. He reveals it's actually Pinstanch's most guarded natural treasure. A bloodied hero stands triumphant, driven solely by sibling devotion. Evan watches, silently recognizing Ferox's extraordinary hidden talent. Ferox recounts becoming Pinstanch's hero and meeting King Lartenian. The king reveals the paired relic. The vessel of Vitalis' soul. Ferox's expression darkens. The vessel belongs to Archdemon Razgrad. Evan confirms the terrible truth. Razgrad must be defeated first. Ferox whispers there isn't enough time. Evan guesses the reason, hands clasped tightly, as Ferox confirms his desperate situation. A tearful eye reveals his sister has only 3 months left. Evan calculates coldly, 6 months minimum, suggesting he stay instead. Ferox's eyes burn with desperate, unyielding determination regardless. Evan's profile hardens. He judges this a hopeless cause. A vision of pale Evelyn appears beautiful and fading. Dark revelations about 7 archdemons fuel Ferox's berserker rage. Ferox battles monstrous demons, his blade blazing with fury. He screams in agony, cursing the power that killed her. Evan realizes saving Evelyn through normal methods is impossible. Evan questions whether depending on Ferox is truly wise. His golden eyes narrow. He wants only one thing from this world, a final wish to ride safely in the back relaxed. Evan's mind races, dreaming of a life where the hero does the heavy lifting. He sees Ferox as the perfect tool, a hero with pure motive. Evan scratches his head, plotting how to use this perfect weapon. He casually asks Ferox if he'd take a faster, dangerous route. Ferox instantly agrees, already committed to facing the archdemon. Evan probes further, asking if the method truly doesn't matter. Ferox draws a firm line. No harm to the kingdom or its people. Evan, now helmeted, assures him the plan won't cause that harm. With that condition met, Ferox smiles, declaring he doesn't care. Evan seals the deal, thinking it's good to recruit allies early. He turns to Lemelin, asking if she senses anything around them. Evan internally notes that a sudden carriage change would be too suspicious. Lemelin is utterly confused, questioning what sense mean. Evan decides to use her sensitivity as a convenient excuse. He tells her to focus, insisting she should be able to sense something. Lemelin closes her eyes, concentrating as instructed. She suddenly senses an untamable presence from the northeast. Evan orders the carriage stopped, claiming he must check the unknown presence himself. The driver protests, alarmed at Evan's sudden decision to investigate alone. Evan hands Lemelin a potion, telling her to follow and use it. Lemelin is startled, calling out to her master in confusion. The group steps into a misty, ethereal forest path. A mysterious hat-watch figure watches them approach from the shadow. The figure takes a deliberate step forward, emerging from the mist. A tense confrontation begins as the unknown presence reveals itself. A hooded child sprints through the misty, dark forest. A boot steps down hard on something unseen. The child collapses forward, reaching desperately towards something. They hit the ground hard, groaning in pain. Ghostly shapes drift between the towering trees above. A single glowing blue eye pierces through the mist. A massive white wolf emerges, wreathed in blue flame. The creature throws its head back and howls. It lunges forward with terrifying supernatural speed. Claws tear through flesh, blood spraying across the ground. A hooded stranger stands calmly amid the swirling mist. The wolf's fur shimmers with an ethereal, ghostly light. A helmeted warrior steps forward, ready for battle. Moonlight filters through the canopy of the dark forest. More wolves emerge from the shadows surrounding them. A dead wolf lies still as 2 figures watch. The armored warrior and child exchange a tense glance. Girl appears small and defenseless against the danger. Fear flashes across her face as something glows nearby. Lemelin arrives, calling out to her master in alarm. Lemelin looks confused, unsure of what's expected. Lemelin and the child stand together in the mist. A blade is drawn with a sharp metallic ring. The warrior readies his weapon, testing his strength. Scene spreads out with wolves closing in around them. A flashback shows the protagonist recalling their first terrifying encounter with a wolfricon. The memory shifts to other fearsome foes, Diluc, Anthro, and Homomel. Another powerful enemy, Radak, is shown, followed by the defeated Kiret. The protagonist reflects on how they won those early battles through cunning, not strength. A gleaming sword is presented, with the protagonist deciding a bow is no longer needed. The hooded protagonist declares they will now take the fight directly to their enemy. A close-up shows their armored hand gripping the sword's hilt with resolve. The protagonist explains their simple, brutal method for dealing with monsters in the mist. They state their core tactic: eliminate threats before they can retreat and regroup. The hooded figure launches into a blindingly fast attack against a white wolf creature. Wolf is struck, blood spraying as it roars in pain and surprise. The protagonist stands ready, their masked face showing cold, unwavering foku. Wounded wolf and the hooded fighter face off amidst swirling mist. A powerful armored fist clenches, ready to deliver a crushing blow. The wolf creature lunges forward with incredible speed and ferocity. Protagonist skillfully parries, sending one wolf flying while engaging another. A brilliant arc of golden energy erupts from the protagonist's blade. The energy slash cleaves through the mist, striking the spectral wolf with devastating force. Scene cuts to a stark blood-red silhouette, implying a violent conclusion. A young girl with purple hair looks on with a deeply worried expression. She stands beside a white-haired companion, watching a calm white wolf in the forest. The white-haired individual speaks, their red eyes filled with a distant, thoughtful look. White wolf closes its eyes, letting out a soft, contented sound. The scene pulls back to show a full moon shining over the quiet, misty forest. A close-up reveals the wolf's powerful paw stepping firmly onto the damp ground. The masked stranger confronts the wolf, calling it the bow. A massive white wolf emerges from the mist, growling. He plans to end this quickly with a single strike. The wolf lunges, claws slashing through the air. He blocks the attack, arms straining against its power. Golden light reveals the name Gerbier etched in his visor. Golden energy erupts as their weapons clash violently. A brilliant golden slash cuts through the darkness. The beam strikes down, illuminating the entire forest. Moonlight filters through the trees as silence returns. Two companions follow tracks through the misty wood. They spot Evan alone and call out to him. Next, they find him watching a girl suspended from a tree. The terrified girl begs desperately for her life. Ferox reminds him they're running out of time. He angrily demands to know what's happening here. Ferox insists on a proper explanation immediately. Evan wonders if the hero is finally getting angry. Lemelin appears, claiming she's buying them precious time. Ferox is confused by her sudden statement. A fist clenches tightly in barely contained frustration. Evan reminds him he'd do anything for speed. Ferox's face shows inner conflict and turmoil. He grits his teeth, struggling with the choice. Ferox shouts, demanding how this relates to saving his sister. The mysterious masked stranger adjusts their dark cloak silently. Evan holds Ferox back, telling him to calm down. The scene continues with the next story beat. Both warriors react with shock. A witch? The group stares down at the purple-haired girl. She stammers, confused how they discovered her secret. Moonlight bathes the forest as warnings about witches echo. Someone grips their sword tightly, mentioning dark rumor. They question why Evan protects such a dangerous creature. Ferox demands answers. There must be a reason for this. Evan considers it. Maybe she leads to Razgrad faster. The masked figure confirms they need the witch's city. Tied-up girl becomes their ticket inside those walls. The stranger addresses her directly. Isn't that right, Stella? Stella's eyes widen. How does this person know her name? The masked figure prepares to silence her completely. Stella struggles, gagged and unable to speak anymore. Ferox admits he's skeptical, but will follow for now. He demands full explanations once this whole ordeal ends. The masked stranger simply agrees with a curt response. A mysterious white-haired figure with crimson eyes appears suddenly. Ferox's instincts flare. He senses danger approaching fast. The masked one feels nothing but trusts his reaction. Swirling energy erupts. She's here, and shiz for you. A witch rockets through the sky, trailing purple energy. Someone screams Stella's name, eyes blazing with power. She's one of the 5 sages from Astelwind. Aisha, the harmonizer of dreams, lands dramatically. Her eyes narrow, whispering Selita with recognition. Stella struggles against her bonds, furious and gagged. Aisha's rage explodes. You filthy human! Ferox steps forward, calmly ready to fight. The masked one observes Ferox's heroic instinct. Past betrayals haunt the masked one's thought. A solemn vow burns within the masked one. Fire ignites in their palm. Trust is gone forever. Aisha conjures a massive fireball overhead. The masked one orders Ferox to subdue, not kill. Ferox smirks, accepting the challenge eagerly. Aisha's eyes glow. She whispers death. The fireball crashes down toward Ferox. Ferox shields everyone behind him. The group watches as Aisha floats above. Mask 1 orders Lemelin to protect Stella. Stella watches in terror, unable to move. The Mask 1 considers handling this alone. If Ferox fails, their entire plan collapse. The Mask 1 and Lemelin watch expectantly. Aisha's final word hangs in the air. Death. The witch unleashes fire, screaming, "You vermin," at them. Ferox watches the massive explosion erupt overhead. A mysterious armored figure stands calmly as flames rain down. A beam of light crashes into the ground violently. Ferox bursts through the inferno, refusing to fall. He grunts in pain, a fresh scar across his face. Another devastating beam strikes him through the flame. The witch smirks coldly, calling him a foolish thing. A silhouette tumbles helplessly through the raging fire. The witch dashes through the smokestaff in hand. She panics, realizing she needed him alive for her plan. Ferox emerges smiling, calling her magic mere cheap trick. He wraps himself in magical power, sword drawn. The masked stranger watches, knowing ordinary magic won't stop him. Ferox takes his battle stance, ready to strike. He charges forward with incredible speed and determination. The witch warns him about magical power colliding with greater force. 3 elemental orbs materialize above her. Fire, ice, and energy. Her eyes narrow with fierce, deadly determination. The orbs converge toward Ferox in a devastating attack. Ferox's eye glows with an otherworldly, powerful light. Blue energy and ethereal butterflies swirl around him. The masked stranger reveals Ferox's absurd time dilation ability. Time acceleration lets Ferox move at impossible speed. The witch realizes he might actually be hero-level strong. A massive blue energy slash erupts from the white-haired fighter's blade. The witch takes the hit, directly crying out as her hat flies off. She recovers, conjuring light in her palm, demanding why a hero-level human is here. The white-haired one charges through the blinding flash without hesitation. Stella's hat spirals away as she's knocked backward through the misty air. Cold blue eyes narrow. Another cheap trick, he mutters dismissively. Stella's face twists with fury, accusing him of horrible crimes against a child. The white-haired fighter looks genuinely shocked. "That wasn't me," he stammers. Stella doesn't listen, channeling rage into a devastating summoning spell. Red energy explodes upward, forming a massive fiery construct from the ground. Flames engulf the battlefield as something terrible takes shape within. A towering fire spirit emerges, wielding a molten blade, facing the lone fighter. The white-haired one studies the creature calmly. A fire spirit this time. A dangerous smile spreads across his face. He doesn't need to hold back. He drives his weapon into the ground, unleashing a shockwave of energy. The fire golem staggers as raw power slams into its burning form. A blue spirit bird materializes, diving straight at the fiery monster. The fighter launches himself upward, wreathed in azure flames against the inferno. His blade ignites with concentrated blue energy as he swings overhead. A beam of pure light cleaves through the fire spirit's core with devastating precision. Stella watches in disbelief. "What? That's impossible," she whispers. Those cold blue eyes fix on her, next calm and utterly merciful. Stella raises her staff, summoning a barrier of swirling red energy desperately. She snarls through gritted teeth. A mere human shouldn't possess such power. The white-haired fighter's eyes gleam with dangerous amusement as flames dance behind him. White-haired fighter unleashes a torrent of blue energy. The purple-haired witch counters with her own swirling magic. She conjures a complex, glowing geometric barrier before her. The witch shouts, firing a concentrated beam of light. Beam strikes the fighter, who is shielded by hexagonal plate. She taunts him, confident her spell is unbreakable. The white-haired fighter simply smiles, unfazed by her attack. He draws his blade, curious about her defensive spell. In a blur, he dashes forward through the mist. A brilliant multicolored slash of energy erupts from his sword. He moves with incredible speed, a streak of blue light. His blade meets the witch's barrier in a shower of spark. With a determined grin, he puts his full strength into the strike. The sword cuts through the magical barrier with a deafening crack. Shattered barrier explodes into countless blue fragments. The witch stares in utter shock at her broken defense. Fighter stands before her, boasting of his cutting prowess. The scene shifts to a quiet, moonlit forest. A thick rope hangs ominously from a tree branch. A young girl runs forward, crying out for her sister. The purple-haired witch embraces the girl, telling her not to worry. Masked stranger interrupts, stating they are short on time. The witch glares, demanding to know what they want. Stranger states they need a guide to the witch's city. He delivers a chilling warning against any tricks against a blood-red backdrop. The pink-haired witch mutters, utterly confused by the masked stranger's demeanor. Golden light engulfs the hooded figure. Limitless strength, no visible weakness. Her purple eye narrows. He might be worse than the white-haired monster. She wrestles with doubt, but decides bringing them serves the city's interest. The armored mask demands her answer coldly, leaving no room for refusal. She relents, agreeing to guide them while clutching the young girl protectively. Clouds drift across the full moon, casting silver light over the journey ahead. A covered carriage rolls through the misty, blue-tinted forest depth. Inside, the masked one studies the unconscious witches, noting staves as tool. The pink-haired guide flies alongside on her broom, keeping pace with the carriage. Her expression softens slightly under the moonlight, purple eyes gleaming. She drifts closer to the carriage window, curiosity overriding her caution. For a moment, she questions why humans would trouble themselves reaching the witch's city. The masked figure's response is chilling. No patience for explanation. Inside, she sits uneasily, realizing two hero-level beings are heading toward her home. Her eyes sharpen with suspicion. If they're threats, she must prepare accordingly. The witch and masked stranger face each other in tense, loaded silence. Revelation drops casually. They simply need a portal, nothing more. She stammers, stunned, while the white-haired fighter and another watch. Her disbelief is palpable. All this chaos just for a portal. The masked one confirms bluntly. There's no reason to lie about it. She collapses against the wall, wondering if she worried over nothing. A smirk crosses her face. Humans couldn't possibly understand witchcraft anyway. She presses him, asking if Hes truly serious about entering the city. Her eyes close ominously. She asks if Hes prepared for what awaits inside. Purple-haired one smirks, agreeing to follow their guide. He warns them not to regret their choice. A carriage travels through misty, moonlit forest. Inside, they discuss Evelyn's fate if the archdemon fall. Purple-haired one ponders, someone torn between duty and family. The deal seems tempting, but complications remain. White-haired one distrusts sweet words. They always hide lie. Purple-haired one questions his suspicion. White-haired one wonders how Evan moves with such precision. Purple-haired one agrees. Evan prefers action over conversation. Mercenary, Evan introduced. Efficiency over honor, results over glory. Evan and Ferox compared polar opposites in philosophy. White-haired one weighs the risk of this partnership. He announces his decision with quiet resolve. A dangerous smile crosses his face. Hell, bury it. Purple-haired one seeks confirmation. White-haired one affirms firmly. Secrets linger. Both hide truths from each other. Moonlight filters through clouds above the dark forest. Carriage wheels spin rapidly through the night. Purple-haired one suddenly demands the carriage stop. Purple-haired one looks confused by his own warning. He warns an abyss awaits if they continue forward. Purple-haired one grabs the reins. White-haired one watch. Purple-haired one's face drains of color in shock. They stand before a massive fog-filled chasm ahead. The purple-haired adventurer questions their location, lost in the thick mist. A blonde witch stands before a shimmering magical barrier in the forest. She offers to dispel the barrier, calling upon a nature spirit. Purple energy swirls around her feet as she begins her incantation. The witch levitates, chanting from moonlight to illuminate their path. Her spell calls for clear vision and blessings from nature. A close-up shows her eye glowing with concentrated magical power. A brilliant light erupts, sweeping through the forest and dispelling the mist. The white-haired fighter stares in awe at the revealed landscape. Pink-haired guide announces their arrival at the witch's city. A breathtaking moonlit city with towering spires and waterfalls is revealed. The group approaches the grand walled city under the night sky. A majestic Gothic tower pierces the clouds, crowned with a golden symbol. Inside, a character gazes through an ornate blue stained glass window. The guide peeks through a door, reporting her return to the sage. She explains she brought along the passing adventurers who wish to see her. A grand hall reveals a throne where a masked sage sits waiting. A close-up introduces the masked first sage of Astelwind. The Grand Witch Eliana welcomes them and offers seats to relax. A teapot pours a steaming purple liquid into a fine china cup. Eliana has prepared health tea for the tired-looking group. The Grand Witch takes a serene sip from her own cup. White-haired fighter eyes his tea with deep suspicion. He and the purple-haired man sit in tense, silent thought. The dark-haired adventurer worries the witch's tea might be poisoned. A mechanical hand carefully lifts a delicate porcelain teacup. Evan sips calmly, noting the tea isn't bad at all. His companions respond awkwardly, clearly uneasy about the situation. The queen smirks, questioning why Evan shows no suspicion. Evan tilts his head, genuinely confused by her question. She explains most humans fear witch-brewed tea is poisoned. Evan simply smiles, saying he trusted her without hesitation. The pink-haired woman adds that Aisha trusted them first. Aisha stammers nervously when the queen turns to her. The queen's expression sharpens. Time to address the real reason. Her piercing eye demands the truth about their true purpose. She drops the bomb. The portal is currently unavailable. The scarred fighter's eyes widen in disbelief and shock. Brown-haired man's expression darkens with growing suspicion. The queen covers her mouth, amused by their serious face. She clarifies from her throne. The portal simply cannot function now. Her eye gleams ominously as she mentions severe restriction. Evan presses forward, demanding to know what kind. One word escapes her lips. Razgrad. With chilling weight, both fighters react with visible shock and alarm. Meanwhile, the oblivious pair continue casually sipping their tea. A heavy silence falls across the grand meeting table. The truth emerges. All mana protects the city from Razgrad. Evan drinks thoughtfully. They're stuck here for at least 3 days. The white-haired girl nearly drops her teacup in shock. Dark-haired man reveals most of the queen's story is a lie. He smirks, confident everything is proceeding as he planned. The view shifts to the serene moonlit witch city outside. A character walks purposefully down a grand dark hallway. The pink-haired guide explains their rooms are deliberately spread out. She looks at them, hoping they understand the arrangement. The dark-haired man realizes she's obviously splitting them up. He thanks her, and the group agrees to rest for now. As she leaves, he asks to discuss something with her later. The pink-haired guide is visibly confused by his request. He invites her to his room, startling his white-haired companion. The guide reacts with shocked disbelief to his blunt invitation. A voice, likely her sister, orders her to agree and go. She reluctantly agrees to visit later, telling them to get rest. The sound of sharp footsteps echoes as someone depart. A hooded figure waits silently in a long, misty corridor. The figure's boots click softly as they step forward. Hooded one addresses Aisha, holding a glowing crystal ball. Aisha shouts, "Sister." In alarm through the magical connection, she angrily scolds her sister for eavesdropping on them. The scene cuts to a dark, imposing tower under the night sky. Inside, someone worries the deadline for a crucial offering is near. A white-haired woman in regal attire thanks Aisha profusely. The woman asks if Aisha knows her duties from now on. Aisha listens silently, her expression heavy with unspoken burden. Aisha confidently assures the sage she understands the stake. The white-haired sage accepts her answer, turning away. Aisha's expression hardens, a silent resolve building within. She hesitantly questions sending the adventurers to Belladonna. A close-up reveals the sage's eyes glowing with cold purpose. The sage confirms her plan without a moment's doubt. Aisha's face darkens, dread evident in her sharp gaze. The sage explains the grim necessity of sacrificing their own. Aisha's hand clenches, her internal conflict physically manifesting. The sage coldly notes the dwindling supply of mana-bearing offering. She delivers the ultimatum. 3 days or Astal windfall. The sage demands Aisha take responsibility for the city's fate. Aisha stammers, her boots shifting nervously on the floor. The sage sighs, claiming the dire circumstances force her hand. She notes Evan's trust in Aisha is a strategic advantage. The sage instructs Aisha she must now take action. Aisha's eyes shadow her face as she reluctantly agrees. The sage reveals she used her eye of insight on Evan. A vision shows Evan arrived with a specific hidden purpose. She deduces his entire group shares this singular unknown goal. A shadowy figure looms behind Evan in her vision. The sage dismisses her strange feeling about him as trivial. She assigns this as Aisha's first official night task. Aisha accepts the mission, her face now set like stone. Her fist clenches, steeling herself to protect her sister. The pink-haired witch's expression turns serious, her thoughts clearly troubled. She blushes fiercely, stammering in shock at a sudden, unexpected statement. A dark-haired man watches her with a calm, unreadable gaze in the dim hall. The scene shifts to an ornate chandelier, glowing with a soft purple light. A flashback begins, showing her as a child gazing at the stars with her sister. She stands alone in a dark room, clutching a teddy bear, feeling isolated. Surrounded by stuffed animals, she wonders if becoming a sage will make her less lonely. Years pass, and she spends endless nights studying magic and ancient texts. She discovers a peculiar book titled, "What Do Witches and Humans Do in the Forest?" Her eyes widen in surprise as she reads the intriguing content. The book reveals a sketch of a human man and a witch in an intimate moment. She recalls the legend. "I want to be your first," blushing at the memory. Back in the present, the dark-haired man asks what's wrong. She admits she was reminded of an old legend about a witch's first blessing. The legend speaks of a warrior who receives the blessing and becomes a world-renowned hero. She questions how he knows about such a specific witch legend. He casually mentions he read it in a book, revealing he's an avid reader. She wonders aloud how a witch's legend ended up in a human book. He dismisses it as just a legend, its truth uncertain. She asks if simply sitting with him grants the blessing, her tone hopeful. He clarifies it's not that simple, leaving the actual ritual unexplained. A crow with glowing eyes watches silently from outside the window. The moonlit spires of Astelwind City loom in the distance, beautiful and foreboding. She steels herself, thinking of her duty to protect her city and family. The man declares it's time to begin, then turns and asks if she truly wants to know. Evan. Evan's eyes narrow, sensing a sudden shift in the room's atmosphere. Aisha steps closer, her hands glowing with soft pink magic. She whispers for him to relax, her charm beginning to take hold. A wave of energy envelops him, his resistance fading. Evan's gaze goes distant as the witch's spell fully ensnares him. Aisha smiles, confident her charm has made him a puppet. Outside, a dark crow with a glowing eye watches from a branch. Its gaze is fixed, a silent sentinel for the grand witch. The magical bird's eye pulses, relaying everything it sees. Inside, Aisha reflects on her sister's clumsy but diligent nature. She turns her attention back to the now docile Evan on the bed. Suddenly, she muses that even a hero-level human is powerless to their charm. In another room, Ferox is similarly ensnared by a different witch. The witch holding him mocks human weakness, her grip tight. Elsewhere, another adventurer is confronted by a young braided witch. Two pale-haired witches watch from a corner, one weeping silently. A chilling voiceover reveals the captured heroes are meant to be sacrificed. Evan's discarded helmet sits alone on a table in the quiet room. Aisha leans over Evan, noting he didn't resist her amateurish attempt. She smiles, believing her charade of success must be convincing. Evan lies still, his thoughts hidden as he plays along. Aisha believes her charm has worked, lowering her guard completely. The surveillance crow outside suddenly loses its magical glow. Its eye returns to normal, confused by the sudden break in connection. The bird takes flight, leaving its post under the moonlit sky. Aisha leans in close, attempting her charm spell on Evan. Her eyes widen in shock. Something's gone terribly wrong. Evan suddenly pins her wrists, reversing their positions completely. Aisha's face flushes, caught completely off guard by his strength. Evan calmly says he'd prefer a proper conversation first. A flashback reveals he took a special medicine beforehand. The purple herb grants complete immunity to status effect. Evan smirks, revealing he's immune to her charm magic. Aisha protests that enchantment magic requires preparation to counter. Evan silences her, claiming Hez an emissary of the god. Aisha's breath catches at his impossible declaration. He reveals his purpose is to eradicate all demon. Among them stands the archdemon Rezgrad, his true target. Aisha scoffs at the notion. A human killing an archdemon. She questions whether such a feat is even possible. Evan's expression hardens with absolute certainty. It is possible. Aisha's eyes widen, sensing something deeper behind his confidence. His gaze burns with an intensity that unsettles her. The weight of his stare makes her skin prickle with unease. Evan asks if she's finally willing to hear him out. Aisha reluctantly agrees, demanding he release her first. The scene shifts to a quiet, shadowed room. They sit together, the tension between them palpable. Aisha lets out a shaky breath, composing herself. She asks directly, he wants to kill Razgrad, doesn't he? Aisha directly questions how he plans to kill the archdemon. Evan states the plan is feasible if he and Ferox work together. He then tells Aisha that he specifically needs her help. Aisha looks confused, repeating his request for help. Evan explains he chose her as the most rational witch. Aisha is stunned, questioning his assessment of her as rational. He reveals she's the only one still willing to fight Razgrad. A vision of the looming archdemon emphasizes Shiz, the last hope. Aisha is visibly shaken, struggling to process his word. Evan states most witches have already given up the fight. A flashback shows the Grand Witch defeated before her crown. He says they lost their will after facing Razgrad's power. Aisha, alarmed, asks how he knows their deepest secret. Evan offers to elaborate on their paralyzing fear. He describes how they're terrified of the archdemon's watchful eye. Aisha looks down, the painful truth hitting her. Evan states the witches have lost all courage to move forward. Aisha sits on the bed, crushed by helplessness and threat. He says they're paralyzed, unable to take even the first step. A bitter smile appears on Aisha's face as she asks what to do. She suddenly shouts, defending that they have tried everything. A close-up on Evan's eye shows his calm, unwavering assessment. He tells her he doesn't know what they tried, but Evan coldly states the reality. They haven't achieved any result. He offers his hand, promising he can save her and the city. Aisha's eyes glisten with unshed tears, longing for hope. She laughs through tears, calling him crazy for offering his hand. Evan's expression softens, something shifting in his gaze. Her smile returns warmth spreading despite his cold word. Aisha's guard rises again, voice hardening with suspicion. She demands to know what he's planning. Evan's words hang heavy. They'll offer themselves as the sacrifice. Aisha's shock turns to horror, explaining Razgrad's deadly ritual. He counters that only one death is needed to end I. Aisha's breath catches, unable to process his logic. Evan mentions a divine revelation, confusion clouding her feature. The name Belladonna falls like a stone, freezing Aisha in place. Later, alone in darkness, she replays his strange behavior. The realization hits. Evan knows things no outsider should know. Her voice turns bitter, revealing Belladonna's betrayal to Razgrad. Sitting together, she can't dismiss his claim about divine purpose. Aisha's cheeks flush as she studies him more closely. Evan's sudden movement pins her breath hot against her skin. His confident smile blooms like flowers, disarming and dangerous. Aisha buries herself deep, her face burning with embarrassment. The cathedral looms above its spires, piercing the cloud. A lavish feast spreads across the table, rich and abundant. Witches and adventurers gather, tension simmering beneath polite conversation. The white-haired man expresses gratitude for their hospitality. He remarks the food tastes, enchanted suspicion creeping into his voice. Eliana deliberately spills wine on Joseph, testing his reaction. She serves him soup, her hospitality feeling strangely performative. Joseph praises the soup, loudly playing the impressed guest. Mylène watches the exchange, her expression unreadable. Lemelin eats delicately, drawing a comment on her adorabline. Solina laughs, her amusement seeming to fill the room. A lament is made about the absent fourth witch Kamalia. Evan eats slowly, his eyes scanning everyone at the table. A heavy silence falls between Evan and Aisha. Aisha's face is a mask of stern, focused thought. Evan notes Aisha's demeanor has shifted, her favorability rising. He realizes passive observation isn't enough. He must act. Evan knows silence will expose his resistance to her charm. He spots Aisha growing suspicious of his quiet behavior. Breaking the tension, Evan calls out her name directly. Aisha stammers, completely flustered by his sudden attention. He smoothly compliments her, noting her earring suits her. Aisha repeats ahead, confused by his cryptic instruction. Ileana watches the interaction with a knowing, amused smile. Aisha nervously explains she traded for the earring. Evan smiles, appreciating her taste in a seemingly genuine moment. With the meal over, he asks her to show him the city. He specifies he wants it to be just the two of them. Eliana warns Aisha not to stay out too late. Ileana smiles, but her eyes hold a silent, knowing warning. Aisha blinks, utterly confused by his sudden forward request. Her face flushes a deep, embarrassed crimson at the implication. She stammers, reluctantly agreeing to show him the city. Evan confidently takes her hand, leading her away from the table. The scene shifts abruptly to a grand, ornate doorway. A stunning white tower pierces the sky beside a waterfall. They stand together on a high, scenic balcony. Aisha turns, confronting him about his earlier bold statement. Evan stands calmly, asking if there's a problem with his honesty. He bluntly asks if Shell deny her charm had no effect. Aisha's eyes widen, a sharp realization dawning on her. She mutters in confusion, trying to process his immunity. Evan notices her distress, leaning in to ask what's wrong. A new figure, Lemelin, appears silently behind them in the mist. Lemelin explains she followed because Evan is her master. Evan dryly acknowledges this, questioning the logic of her loyalty. He ponders internally, wondering if he could be immune to charm. A flashback reveals the Baihua race's famed strength and talent. The narration notes their critical game-balancing weakness to status magic. Aisha urgently whispers that Solina's tracking magic is getting closer. Evan decides, telling Lemelin she must leave for now. Lemelin looks up, surprised. There is no training scheduled today. Evan firmly states there is no training and orders her to return. Aisha watches, commenting that Hez being cold to the kid. Lemelin smiles softly, saying she's heard his actually very kind. Solina stands gracefully, mentioning Lemelin cares deeply for that child. She smiles warmly, noting humans usually avoid the Bahamut. Evan's eyes narrow. Solina, the Starweaver, is an unexpected variable. From above, Solina faces the group on cobblestones, tension thick. A towering Gothic cathedral looms beside cascading waterfall. Solina asks Evan casually if he trains with Lemelin often. Evan glances back, confirming with a simple, well, yeah. Solina wants to watch Lemelin train. Evan senses something's off about her. Evan's eyes sharpen, wondering what's changed in Solina's behavior. Lemelin turns sharply, sensing Evan's unspoken tension. Evan tells Lemelin to prepare for sparring. It'll be tough today. The group gathers in a misty clearing, watching from a distance. Aisha stands behind Evan, demanding to know what he's planning. Evan pivots, asking if Solina's charm has ever failed before. Aisha bristles, defending her sister's unmatched enchantment skill. Evan tilts his head, calling her claim strange. Aisha's eyes widen. She realizes what he's implying about that girl. Evan smirks, slightly admitting he simply doesn't know. Aisha stammers, shocked by his non-answer. Evan explains calmly. There is simply too little information right now. Lemelin watches from the tree-lined fingers, poised, calculating, a rear shot of Lemelin's ready stance, mist swirling below. Lemelin launches forward, closing the distance with lethal speed. A hand grabs Evan's leg mid-movement. Someone calls his name urgently. Aisha clings to Evan, demanding answers about who resisted the charm. Aisha's expression darkens with worry about the charm's authenticity. Evan draws his blade, determined to confirm the truth himself. Aisha's sharp violet eye gleams. Shall investigate too. Evan pauses, caught off guard by her sudden offer. Aisha explains Shell questioned her sister during the upcoming match. She grins, confidently certain her sister won't suspect a thing. Evan reluctantly agrees, but warns her to abort if things go wrong. Aisha teases him, leaning closer with a playful smirk. Evan tries warning her about the danger. She brushes it off. Aisha laughs, enjoying how flustered he gets. Evan walks ahead, dismissing her teasing with cold indifference. A white-haired figure watches from the shadows, approaching slowly. Evan's eyes narrow. Could they be under the charm too? The white-haired woman steels herself, fearing the witch will take her master. Evan invites her to attack. She stammers but readies her blade. She lunges forward. Evan notes her speed has improved. Evan's blade flashes past his face, challenging her to dodge. Steel clashes against steel, energy crackling between them. A blinding impact erupts from their collision. The white-haired woman presses close, red eyes burning with intensity. Her face shifts to shock. She whispers, "Master." Evan raises his sword high, golden light blazing behind him. A devastating strike crashes down, splitting the earth apart. Dust and debris explode outward from the catastrophic blow. The white-haired woman stands amidst the rubble, trembling, but unbroken. Lemelin's vision is suddenly obscured by a thick magical fog. She decides to use her master's sensing technique one last time. Evan appears behind her in a blur, startling her completely. He swiftly pins her arms, his grip firm and unyielding. A struggle ensues as he forces her down onto the ground. Lemelin's eyes widen in shock at his unexpected strength. Evan places a finger to his lips, demanding silence. He then feeds her a strange purple berry from his hand. Evan directly questions Lemelin about her presence in the wood. A flustered Lemelin stammers an excuse about morning training. Evan stands over her, realizing something crucial about the enchantment. From a distance, Aisha and Selena watch the two figure. Aisha calls out to her Ani, getting Selena's attention. Selena asks Aisha if she's ever had an enchantment spell fail. Aisha admits she has, prompting Selena to ask why. Aisha confesses her recent enchantment felt like it only half worked. Selena reassures her that even powerful enchantments can sometimes fail. Lemelin suddenly reveals Evan wasn't affected by her own spell. Selena is shocked, realizing Lemelin tried to charm the man. Lena deduces his obsession must be powerful enough to resist magic. Evan concludes Lemelin was not under Selena's enchantment spell. He finds this growing complexity to be quite troublesome. A confused Lemelin asks him what's wrong with a blank stare. Evan dismisses the conversation, telling her to forget it happened. His expression is tense, hinting at deeper, unseen complications ahead. Lemelin looks up, startled, admitting she thought her master had grown. Evan questions why she aimed for his sword, not him. Lemelin stammers, unable to answer his direct, probing question. He stands over her, asking if she'd point her blade at him. Evan's expression is stern, demanding an honest response from her. Lemelin looks down quietly, denying the possibility. Evan warns her that such hesitation will get her killed. He states he can't take her along in her current state. Lemelin's eyes widen with desperation and a fierce resolve. She insists she can do it, her voice trembling. Evan looks back, challenging her to prove her word. The scene pulls back, showing them alone in the misty wood. Lemelin kneels, frustrated, thinking time together would help. She grips her dagger, her anxiety only growing since arriving. A dark thought crosses her mind about being left behind. She closes her eyes, steeling her determination to become indispensable. Evan watches her, a flicker of concern in his eye. Lemelin dashes forward, her movements mimicking another's swordsmanship. She questions what she can do as a member of her clan. Lightning crackles around her blade as she pushes her speed. Evan looks on, surprised by her reckless effort. Lemelin unleashes a powerful lightning-infused strike. The attack creates a massive explosive impact on the ground. Evan's eye widens in sheer shock at the display. A pillar of brilliant lightning erupts skyward from the clash. Lemelin pushes herself, lightning crackling, as she demands more speed. Her profile is set with fierce, glowing determination. Evan grits his teeth, noticing her sudden explosive acceleration. She lunges, a blur of white hair and golden lightning. Their weapons meet in a blinding electric clash of force. Evan blocks the powerful strike, his arm straining against the energy. With a grunt, he shoves her back, creating distance. He realizes it's not just her speed that has increased. There, he questions her directly, asking if she can use magic. Lemelin looks utterly confused, stammering a negative reply. Evan presses further, demanding to know what that power was. She clutches her chest, admitting she doesn't know either. From the sidelines, Selena and Aisha watch the exchange intently. Solina smiles, praising Lemelin for her impressive performance. She notes the Bakwa clan's renowned speed is well-deserved. Lemelin wonders aloud if Evan might have magical talent too. Evan ponders, finding it strange a Bakwa would use magic.